Hey, what's up, y'all? Look, to be 100% real with you, I first became like I only knew about Saint in the Center because of his Kevin Samuels video. In his video, he basically explained that Kevin Samuels is a fraud. And I think he was saying it because he was like a professional shopper. He had no money. He was not like the business guy that he was claiming to be because he had no like whatever. Later on, he talked about his degree being faked. He said he was like all image and not, whatever. So that was like that's how I first became aware of this dude. I saw a few of his videos, and I liked some of them, like just some of the stuff that he would say. But then some of the stuff, it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, it almost seems like he's intentionally weird or intentionally front. I don't know. It was just not something I could get behind. Some of it. So all that to say that, I've been aware of him. I know he recently had a run-in with Destiny. I didn't know that he had a run-in with Academics, but Academics just beef with everybody. That's kind of how he grows his platform. So we're about to watch this interview, but first, I really wanted to watch this video. My mama posted it. I want to see what the hell this is. I want to see the longer version. 1 second, real quick.
How many times I told you? How many times I told you the number one rule: no man is a bigger man than me in my house. And I said, you open your mouth again, we can take it outside. I let him know right then and there.
Your Honor, that's the truth. This dude is crazy. He threw a knife at me and was like, let's do it.
That's not crazy. That's defending my house. You wouldn't have.
I'm your nephew, man.
You're not nothing to me. You
I understand that now. I understand that now, Tony. I understand I'm not nephew you now because you hurt my feelings, dude.
You know
you ruined my life.
I don't want to hear no more of this.
Jeez.
Hand me a piece of tissue.
He threw a knife at him?
Did this damn young man move from the streets of Oakland to escape the gangs? Plead out to you for help? You let him move in there knowing what he done went through all his life? He running from the street gangs. How many young people run from the street gangs?
Jeez.
And that's one. But where's the love? All I hear is toughness.
I tied up an FBI agent. If he steals this $100,000 from me before midnight, he keeps it. This is a night. Good luck. Let's go, Tariq. Oh!
All right, let's go ahead and get him out of here. Let's go with we're gonna watch this. Okay, it's time. Let's watch this young interview.
Now, first off, I don't even know how to introduce this.
One other thing, I don't know No Jumper at all. I only know the name No Jumper because Kanye West went on there, and that's where he said some Jew stuff, and he got him in trouble, and that word is banned in the stream, so I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, you know what I mean. He said some of that word that we're not supposed to be saying. He said that stuff on the No Jumper interview, and I know that stuff got popular because he had done that. So that's the only thing I know about them. Outside of that, I've never seen a single No Jumper interview in my entire life. So I have no idea what his interview style is, where it's supposed to go. We'll see.
Right? I just call him Big Homie.
Both Fluff and Stars.
For those who don't know, I mean philanthropist, philosopher, technologist, academic. What do you call yourself, man?
I just say I'm a businessman.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we need it all to add up to dollars.
Yes.
So I'm a businessman first and foremost. I also lead the Assassin, you dig, and we can get into that. But people call me many things. They call me Stephen A. Pimp. They call me Fax Kellerman.
Man, suck that ish,
You know what I'm saying? They call me the bald head lover.
Uh-huh.
They call me the idol of James Bond.
Yes.
Some people just call me Marquette Devon, the saint in the center.
That's a fact, man. Right. So for this interview, do you
Man. It doesn't
if I just
resonate
call you
with
Big
me.
Homie?
But he is who he is.
All right, man, perfect, man. Now, somebody told me something about you, right? Where they say, yo, listen. If
This is somebody who knows me or a fan?
A fan, right? He said like 3,000 years ago.
Okay.
If the Big
I think this guy has an accent. Is he a non-FBA? I think he is.
Homie existed 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And he'll be the Mansa Musa, the Attila the Hun, right? Meaning they're just certain people where like they're like conquerors, right? Meaning like
you think
they
he's
just have a
Caribbean of some
level
kind.
of intellect, work ethic, and appetite of power. Now,
Not a foundation of Black American, not an
the third
American
thing is
descendant
where
of
I can't
slavery.
really speak on because I don't know your exact appetite for power, right? But like that formula usually exists in people like who are conquerors, right? So right now, obviously, like you like can't conquer land no more since like niggas got like nukes now, right?
Yeah.
Right? But they're still conquerors in businesses, you know, like let's say like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right? So what do you feel about that assessment? If you existed 3,000 years ago, you will be like a Mansa Musa, Attila the Hun conqueror.
I think that makes sense, and I'd even throw Marcus Aurelius in there because he was a philosopher king. And as we can see, I'm the warrior king of this YouTube thing. You dig? I got to correct a lot of game out here. I'm taking a red pen to the game. But the number one thing to conquer today is the mind. And we're in a fascinating era wherein, look at great leaders like, say, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. During his lifetime, he didn't really get to see Islam spread in the way it's spread today, now the fastest growing religion, right? Now we're in an era where your philosophies, your ideas can cross borders instantaneously.
Is he Muslim?
You have an opportunity to spread ideas, and we're in cultural war. So I'm really trying to kick out this ism because the world is in need. We see a lot of moral decay. We see a lot of things that need repair. And the world's always in need of leadership. So yes, absolutely, we're going to be Julius Caesar of this thing. And as you can tell from the way I've conducted myself on and off camera, when people want to play games, if it was that time, I'd probably have their heads on a spear in my front yard. You heard me? Had a head on my dinner table.
So that's the thing, man. Again, I don't have anything serious against this dude, but there's something off-putting to me. I guess kind of when you like profess to be the leader. But I guess if you're a leader, you should do it. It just feels weird to me because I don't know who he leads really. I mean, I just know he has this, a decent sized online following, and like, he talks to people. And again, I've heard some good advice come from him, but then some of the stuff sounds a little bit more toxic, a little bit more misogynist, just the typical manosphere nonsense. So I don't know. He does seem a little full of himself. I don't know, but maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I'll say it. He seems a little bit. He seems arrogant, and I think arrogance automatically off-puts me because typically I feel like arrogance is fluff for an insecurity.
Table dipping breadsticks in their eye sockets. You did.
Nah, that's a fact. No, because I seen you boxing too, man. I was like, well, hold up now, bro. Like, how does somebody get crafted like this, bro? Like, smart as hell, right? Articulate, well put together.
Sucking him.
Like, and then you like are physical beasts as well. Like, you can fight. How? Like, is it just severe training, preparation, or like was you just naturally gifted these skills, man?
It almost feels like it's a troll. He's fluffing him so hard.
Gifted anything?
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
I'm certainly not a LeBron size. Pretty much normal size black guy, right? But you can read my whole story in the black box.
Yeah.
But I was born into a fairly harsh environment, and I went through real things. And so when you learn how to thrive in that environment, and then you're intelligent enough to be able to get out of that environment, you learn how to move and shake in different economic strata, you really have to be the complete man. And one thing my grandmother told me, who grew up picking cotton, who stopped schooling in the 3rd grade, you heard me? So you make it up out of Lone Oak, Arkansas under Jim Crow, like you different.
Yeah.
And she told me, she says, look, I don't care about your feelings. The world doesn't care about your feelings. If you want to win as a black man, you have to outperform and work 3 times harder than a white man. Yep. Whether that's true or not, that's what I was raised on, which is nobody cares about your story. Let's get this work in. And I always knew that I deserved great things, and I was the poorest kid in the hood, right? So when I looked around,
that's different.
Being on Twitch,
bruh, being the poorest among poor niggas is different.
Yeah. When everybody had a bike, I had to run along their bike. You dig?
That's different.
That creates a different kind of hunger in you. Also teaches you about human nature, because when I was running along on their bike, nobody stopped like, hey man, you want to give my bike a try? Like, I see you don't have a bike. So I had a very different mentality. One, it made me a little bit more empathetic, made me respect people who don't have, but it also made me a beast that wanted to go get it. And then also growing up in a harsh environment, if you don't throw hands, what you doing out here? You're going to be a victim out here. You heard me?
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, I throw hands in the boxing ring, but I've also thrown a lot of hands before I ever made it to the boxing ring. And that's why I tell these cats, like, bruh, like, you could look at the Velvet pimping. You heard me? You could look at the mariachi pimping. And sure, I'm your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber, but at the end of the day, don't play games with me, little homie. Don't mention my name on your video.
That's true. Yo, trust me, we gonna get into all the foolery, right, regarding that, right?
In a real way.
But, like, speak on DNA, though, man, because, like, again, like, I've always been fascinated, right, by just great people, right? Because I be trying to figure out, man, like, so are your parents, like, as high IQ as you, or like how does that work?
That's a really good question. If I could say I got anything from my lineage that was an advantage, my father's a very brave man. My father was a drug dealer, a dealer in hard drugs. He did a lot of time behind that, but he was always the most popular guy in the neighborhood. He was built like a bodybuilder. He used to lift heavy, and you know, he was a real goon. He put his work in, so his name rings bells in his neighborhood, and I got that same fire in me. In terms of my mother,
that sounds
I can't identify many traits that I got from her probably genetically, but in terms of watching her operate, one thing about my mother, she's not a lettered woman, you know, not an extraordinary intellect, but she's a very humble individual, and she's the kind of person that if she doesn't know, she's going to ask the question. And when she needs to make something happen, she's willing to ask anybody for help and put together a team to get the job done. Helped me a lot in business as a CEO, realizing that you don't have to know how to do everything. You have to know how to get everything done. And then the last thing, a lot of people might, at least YouTube people might find, viewers
I don't know enough about this.
Or
so if you make $2,000,
but, and this may be true, but one thing that I'm always humble about is if you hire me to be your janitor, I'm gonna clean them damn floors. You heard me? I'm gonna clean the hell out them floors. And everybody who comes in, yes sir, no sir. And I'm gonna act in the capacity of a servant because I respect hierarchy. And wherever I may fall in a hierarchy, I'm gonna play that role. And that's a problem. A lot of people, especially nowadays, they get outside their mind about where they really stand in life. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I try to keep my feet planted on the ground and deal with what's real. Like when I came in your studio, truth be told, I don't ever like to be searched by anybody but your security guy. I respect the fact that he's providing security, you know? Yeah, hey, whatever you said, do, absolutely. I come in, I want to meet all those staff. Not that I might ever see them again, or, you know, or there's any relevance.
You definitely will see them again.
Yeah, of course. But I came in their space, you know, and so I always want to conduct myself with that level of respect. And I tell people, when you leave, be a cool breeze. You know, they should be like, man, I wish that guy was around. That guy was real cool people. So that's how I try to get it in.
He doesn't like it.
At the end of the day, be remarkable. So leave a mark. And if people are not crazy, leave a scar.
Yeah, man. Now, let's actually dive deeper into your background, right, before, you know, like we move forward. Now,
should I include chat?
Growing up in the hood really early on, did you know, like, yo, I was gonna go to John Hopkins, I was gonna, you know, dive deeper, you know, into the education. Did you know that education was gonna be like what takes you out?
Look,
okay,
I'm gonna keep it a bean with you, man. When I was I was fortunate in that, you know, science suggests that IQ is pretty much fixed, right? It doesn't really change. So I was fortunate in that I was blessed with IQ.
Oh, gosh.
And I know this because when I was in the third grade, I took an IQ test, the Gifted and Talented Education Test in California. And so I was put into accelerated courses as a result.
Wait, the Gifted and Talented thing, is that an IQ test? Is that what that was? Because I remember taking that test and I got into GATE, but I don't think that's an IQ test. They're not allowed to test for IQ for black boys in the state of California. You guys know that, right? I think he's lying. Not lying. He probably was in gifted classes, probably was super duper bright. Yeah, you like, nigga, you hold on. IQ testing California illegal. Yeah. U.S. District Judge Robert Peckham agreed, calling the test racially and culturally biased and discriminatory. He ordered a permanent ban on IQ testing of black students across California for purposes of special education placement. Today, California is the only state that has such a ban. Yeah, so yeah, they don't IQ test black kids. Because like the tests were like super duper culturally relative and or culturally biased. And so then when they were testing black kids were being put into special ed classes like OD, because like their whole goal was to, They would just IQ test a black kid. He would not do well on the tests because of all the cultural biases. And then it would be like, okay, well, your kid's too dumb. He needs to be in special needs classes. And so they were putting like OD amounts of black kids in the special needs classes to discriminate against them. Because once you're in the special need class, then you have to get IEPs. But it wasn't nearly as refined as it is now, like an individualized educational plan. And it wasn't as refined as it is now, where you have like meetings with like the board and all these kinds of things. Before it was just like, you just go to those classes and we'll kind of like give you assessments of what we think we'll be able to do with them, which was like super duper 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 low. And so they just wouldn't actually test the kids right or help them do better. And so then they were like literally doing it to intentionally deny them the education, because this was like shortly after they had finally allowed them into education. What you'll find is frequently with progress that they'll say, okay, we've been banning you from doing this thing. Okay, fine. We'll make it legal for you to do this thing, but then we'll add in extra impediments. For example, it's like, hey, we're not allowing you to go to our schools. Okay, fine. We'll let you come to our schools, but we're gonna charge tuition, which we know that you can't buy, right? Like that's what happened in education. Or it'll be like, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and segregate like neighborhoods altogether. Or we'll finally like get rid of the ban of like segregation, but we'll like attach like specific credit scores, and we'll make previous home ownership be like really, really influential on whether or not you can get this home. And it's like, well, you don't have any credit because up till now, black people have had zero credit. So it's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we're just going to deny you loans still, right? All those kinds of things. They like, so what this was, it was like another way of de facto segregation, education segregation. I wouldn't call it black fragility, and especially not fragility on my part. You see, I actually qualified in the gifted and talented education, as well as later on was IQ tested and outperformed like, everybody in my state on all the statewide testing, such that I got a scholarship for it. Even though I hadn't been in school for 2 years. That's a whole nother conversation. So yeah, I was actually smarter than the rest of the 9th graders in my state by the time I was in the 6th grade. But that's, just who I am. So I'm not fragile at all. But I do know that those tests are insanely culturally biased. But what I did learn is they actually came out with another test. I think it's called like a dot matrix IQ test. One that deals with patterns and things like that, but doesn't involve like cultural things, like, just whatever cultural things. And so then as a result of that, then they find that the IQ tests equalize. Crazy, huh? Haven't they come up with newer IQ tests? Oh yeah, they have dot matrix tests. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, right? Isn't it dot matrix IQ test or something like that? Yeah, pattern recognition for IQs. Maybe it's not. Yeah, it is matrices. Okay. Raven's matrices IQ test. Yeah, so like they came up with those kind of tests in order to like get rid of all the cultural biases. And of course, with those tests, then yes, black kids perform just as well as their white counterparts. It's crazy, huh? Who would have suspected that? Sometimes not performing. But anyway, my point being, that's I don't know. When I don't want to get too lost.
3rd grade, I took a IQ test, the gifted and talented education test in California, and so I was put into accelerated courses as a result. So I knew that was
interestingly enough. By the way, when I took the test in the 3rd grade, I failed. I actually didn't make it. That was interesting. I went there, I took the test. I remember not feeling confident I was going to pass it. And I remember there was a portion where I looked over at this one kid who was like applying for it, and I just copied a slew of his things and ended up failing the test. And then of course I was retested in the 5th grade, and then I made it in. But it was because I was on homeschool for the 4th grade. But it was, now that I think about it, and I just remember like the whole set thing was awful. I remember being starving in the test and like telling them like, I'm so hungry. And they were just like, well, you got to eat breakfast. And I was like, well, they were like, what you have? And I was like, I had a bowl of cereal. And they're just like, yeah, that's not breakfast. And it's not going to fill you up. And like this test is going on for hours and I'm just sitting there grumbling. It was awful. I had no preparation. It was awful. But, that's just my life. Anyway.
There. Yeah. But when you're in a broken family.
Would I debate alt hype on IQ? What is there to debate?
And your family basically are criminals.
I don't know,
unrepentant criminals. Yeah. You heard me like, hey, you trying to get a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I knew. I can't say that I knew anyone personally that I was like, wow, this person's really bright, or someone who was in a proper professional job where they were earning well and happy and living well. So I engaged in crime all the way up until a point where I figured out I was despicable. But I say that to say this: when I was in high school, which I would go to inconsistently and late, and I mostly went there to socialize. The average black kid in the hood.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was also hustling his ass off. And then at some point, they have this time where your high school counselor comes around. And this is back in the day. So she had this big book with all your grades up to that point.
Yeah.
And she would sit outside the classroom. I was in English class, and she'd call out each student one by one. Mm-hmm. And then she called me out, and you sit down with her, and she'll go through your grades and say, these are the collection of universities you can apply to, like the tiers.
Yeah.
Cal State, UC, private, what have you. And she opened up the book, and she went to my grades and went across the book with her fingers and then looked at me, a little Asian woman named Coco. And she said, why do you even come to school?
Wow.
And I was waiting for her to like proceed with the meeting, but for her, it was like over. It was like, I looked at your grades, like, why do you even show up here?
Yeah.
She didn't even have to say like,
None.
And so the summary of that was, these were her exact words.
Yeah.
I remember these two sentences verbatim. Why do you even come to school? And number two, there is no college that will take you.
Wow.
Now, it was funny because at the time I wasn't thinking about going to college.
I would debate anybody on
but
anything.
I was going
for
through the
most
process
part.
everyone else was going through at this time, like come out, sit down with her, and it was just really bad news. And I was like, damn. And ironically, I'd gotten into a situation at the high school. Basically, people were like, have my name and the homie's name, and the homie's a gangster.
Yeah.
I never been a gang member. The homie's a gang member. You heard me? Yeah, an active one, right?
Yeah, real one.
So long story short, we had set up a situation and beat the snot out these people who was running their mouth. And I end up in the teacher's lounge. I guess they were talking about, like, this kid Marquette, why is he still here? He needs to be kicked out.
Yeah.
And there was a new teacher that had just came to the school to teach math as a substitute teacher. And she kept hearing the name Marquette, which is a unique name.
Yeah.
And then I also worked at an after-school program as a cover for my mother to say, like, this is where I'm getting my money from.
Yeah.
It was a nice job. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, worked at an after-school program. So anyways, I went to the after-school program after school, and this woman comes over to pick up her kids, black woman. And I was raised in part by a Southerner because my mother ended up on crack cocaine. So when she abandoned me and my father was in the pen doing 10, I had to go live with my grandmother.
Okay.
Right? So she's a Southerner. Yes, sir. No, sir. Very polite. So when this woman came to pick up her kids, I said, hi, I'm Marquette. Nice to meet you. And she says, oh, Marquette, I heard about you. I said, yeah, I'm a legend out here.
Yeah.
When I tell you I was a nut as a kid, like,
Savage.
your boy was a
same
nut.
kind of arrogance.
I was like, yeah, I'm a legend out here. And she was like, no, they were talking about you in the teacher's lounge. You know, one teacher was saying you're the dumbest kid she's ever had in her class.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? It's
Wow.
crazy. And she was like, and another
That's messed up.
teacher. Yeah, yeah. And another teacher was saying you're the smartest kid in the state based on your scores.
Yeah.
She says, you know what, I can help you. I said, yeah, I'm not looking for help.
Yeah.
She was like, no, you need help though. She was like, yeah, my daughter, I'm not gonna say the girl's name, so my daughter so-and-so goes to Mayfield, which was like I don't know if it's all girls or co-ed, but a very well-to-do private school.
Yeah.
She's really smart, and she's gonna take the high school exit exam. If you're as smart as they say you are, you should be able to take it and pass no problem.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, shorty, like, ain't nobody, who are you? I don't even know you.
I know. I'm saving grace now, though, but yeah.
And then so she literally said, give me your number. I was like, nah, I'm good. She
Yeah.
was like, give me your number. I was like, ma'am, I don't even know you. She was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to leave till you give me your number, and I'm going to have you take this exam,
Yeah.
and you're going to get out of this school because this school is bad for you, or you're bad for this school. Long story short, I ended up taking the high school proficiency exam, which was funny because her daughter didn't pass.
Wow.
I passed, but her daughter didn't pass, which is funny, but you know, that's how it happens.
Pretty
So
expected, though, right? Privileged kids usually like you know.
I didn't really know any
Yeah.
privileged kids. Though.
Yeah.
You know, like, honestly, you know, I was just a kid from the hood. Right?
Yeah, of
I
course.
didn't know much, hadn't seen much, and so I was shocked when her daughter didn't pass, and I was also shocked when I passed.
Yeah.
Because at that, based on your experience in life up to then, though I might have had higher IQ than my peers, I was still there with them in the ghetto.
Yeah.
I was still going through the same things, committing the same crimes, having the same life experience. I viewed myself as the same.
Yeah.
And I was probably worse than most of them, truth be told. So anyways, once I passed that exam, the woman called me up straight away. And the funny thing is, my homie right here, he was there too. Like, yeah, we go way back. You dig, like an old man hairline. So he was there for the whole process. And anything I ever say, there's a difference between me and these guys on the internet is you can always check. Like,
of course.
This is a fee issue.
Of course.
You hear me? If he mentions something, oh, here's the court case. So in this case, she called me up and said, hey, you passed the exam. And then I actually got scared. Like, oh, dang. Like, now I got to go forward.
Yeah.
She said, you don't have to go to high school anymore.
What?
Which tripped me out because I was 16 and my mom had been harassing me every day. Like, hey, you gotta go to school. And I was like, wait, what you mean I don't have to go? She was like, you passed.
Yeah.
You don't have to go. You done. This is like a diploma.
Oh, wow.
And so I was 16. I was like, damn, I could really start hustling now. Like, you heard me? I could murder the block now. She was like, look, I'm going to come get you and I'm going to tell you what you're about to do. We're about to go to Pasadena City College.
Yeah.
We're going to double enroll you. We had to get special permission for her to double enroll me. She was like, you're a young kid. You get into a lot of trouble when you got spare time. We're going to enroll you in 24 credit hours, which is twice as much. And she was like, and we're going to get you out of here within 1 year. You're going to do 2 years in 1 year.
Wow.
She was like, because you must be smart. And if you work hard and do what I tell you to do, you're going to be straight. And honestly, I was kind of like, oh, man. But she was thugging me out so hard. It's like I wasn't even trying to work with her, but she was just making it. Black woman.
What?
Yeah, right. In a real way. And a lot of women have shown me love.
Yeah.
That's why when I come on, I don't ever do the thing. A lot of these guys are actual misogynists.
Absolutely.
People use the term errantly, but a lot of these guys who are speaking and have a following are actually misogynists.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes he can be kind of misogynistic too. I think similarly, yeah, man. I never had the ability to not go to school. Obviously, I was going to get beat. And I don't know. I just didn't have the idea of not going into school. But what I can say is, I just stopped doing work for the most part, like in school. I would never turn in my assignments, and I would always I would never turn in my assignments, and I would always not do homework. And third grade was where it really started, because in the third grade they didn't have you do the homework. They would give you the homework, and you were supposed to do it with your parent. And then when you came back into class, your parent would initial to say they did the homework with you. One day, like in the beginning, I was doing the homework with my mom, and I'm gonna say after like 2 weeks of class, my mom stopped doing the homework with me. So now at this point, I didn't do the homework, and we have to like sign this sheet. And if you don't do the homework, you have to call or she's gonna have to tell your mom or whatever. And I remember being real afraid, and so I forged my mom's signature. I wrote it out. I looked at the way she had written it before. I forged it. And it was probably poorly done because my penmanship is the worst of all time, but she never caught me. And from that point on, I forged that signature literally every single day. So I never, ever did a homework assignment after that in the third grade, right? Fourth grade, I got put on homeschool. I was in class. It just didn't work out. I got put on homeschool. So I just did like that whole year at home. And my older brother did too. Fifth grade, I go back to school. Doing it, but I'm not doing my homework once again. I had done some, it was like off and on. But then eventually one day, my mom, I remember getting to work, going upstairs, and my mom says, do you have homework? And I said, oh no, I don't have homework today. She says, oh, okay. And going into my room, mind my business, go downstairs, play my game, everything is good. She says it again. Next day, where's your homework? And I say, oh, I didn't have homework today. She was like, oh, okay. Drop my stuff off, go downstairs, turn on the Super Nintendo, play my game, have a good time, playing me some Street Fighter. Third day, she asked me the same question. And me being the retard I am, I don't sit there and say to myself, like, she's going to know that it can't be this consistent. So once again, I say, oh, we didn't have homework today. And so I go and try to repeat the same routine. Then my mom calls me upstairs after about 5 minutes. I called your teacher, and she says, you do have homework. And not only do you have homework, you've had homework on the last X amount of days, and you haven't turned that in. And you're going to finish all of those assignments today, or I'm going to beat you. Her words. Yeah, nah. So at this point, my brother's girlfriend at the time drove me down to the school, picked up the assignments. I went to my room, had to finish all the assignments, turned them all in. So then I kind of did homework a little bit on that way. But eventually I left that teacher because she was a terrible teacher, and her and my mom could not get along because she just hated me. I was a bad kid, but she was still making it personal. So I left that teacher, joined another class, and in that class there was no discipline and no homework or no anything. So I just did whatever the freak I wanted to do. I was not doing any classwork, not doing any homework. I was getting out of my seat all the time. The teacher moved my desk because like, yeah, you can't get along with people. So she moved my desk to other people's stuff. It was just awful. It was awful. I didn't do no work, whatever. 6th grade comes around. First day of class, we get homework. I don't do the homework, of course, because I don't do homework. I haven't done homework for years. First day, as soon as we come in, second day of class, we all get up and she says, okay, who all has homework? She says, who didn't turn in homework? And then all of us who didn't turn in homework lift up our hands, and she says, okay, I need you guys all to line up right here. And she has us all individually call our parents and tell them we didn't do the homework. So of course I call my mama, tell her I didn't do the homework. It's like, Mom, I didn't do my homework. And she goes, well, why didn't you do it? And I was like, I don't know. I just didn't get to it. And she says, okay, well, let me get another call that you didn't do your homework, and we'll see about you. And from that point on, I did my homework. So for the 6th grade, that was the first grade where I just did all the work. So ironically, because I got straight A's in the 6th grade, but that wasn't because I would have got straight A's in any class, in any grade I had done, because all the work had always been easy, but this is the first time where I had to do my work, or else I was going to get beat. And this teacher didn't play. On any time you didn't have the homework, you had to call your mom. Some people didn't get that memo. They didn't do homework the next day and called their parent again. The teacher was just like, yeah, I gave you the homework. You have to do the homework. And if you're not going to do the homework, then, and she was so genius. She was so genius because the idea was if homework is supposed to be both the student and the parent. So when you call your parent to tell them, that's her signaling to your parent, hey, by the way, I assigned your kid homework and you didn't make your kid do homework. So in reality, she's taking a shot at your mom or your dad, whoever the freak your parents are, right? At the same time, she's also creating this communication between the parent and the kid. No parent, no good parent, is going to sit there and just be like, yeah, I know you didn't do it, and just let it rock, right? So at this point now, you've literally created the situation where it's like, oh, this situation is being confronted. So long story short, we confronted it. I turned in all my work. But here's where it gets interesting. We should wrap this up. 7th and 8th grade, I get into school. It's junior high. Now, for the first time, I have to manage 6 different classes, carrying different books to classes and all this stuff. And there's homework from 6 different teachers and all sorts of nonsense. And I already have zero discipline whatsoever. I have zero study habits whatsoever. And I'm just getting in trouble. I'm in class acting a dang fool. It's my first time out of my elementary. I'm around other black people finally, because in my elementary, it was pretty much all white folks. So I'm around black people finally. It's a total different environment because the junior high was a collection of all of the local areas, whereas my neighborhood, my elementary, was just from this one little pocket, the rich white folks. So anyway, I'm just acting stupid. I'm fighting. I'm just doing all sorts of nonsense. I got in trouble for sexual harassment, for talking about some girl's titties. It was just a bad time, okay? And I just had a rap sheet. They just every day I was I was just getting in trouble nonstop. And eventually my mother realized y'all niggas is they did have it out for me. My mom was always going to bulldog for her son. I was a bad kid. I'm not denying that in any case. But then there is a thing that happens where the people in authority begin to become biased against you, where they just don't like you. Yeah, you're a problem person. So at this point, since you're a problem person, we're just not going to try to do right by you. And so long story short, they sat there and they let it go. And so then my mom, we had moved over to the east side. My mom had finally bought a house, her and my dad. And so then they were like, yo, he's not even zoned for this area anymore. And since he's in so much trouble, yeah, we don't want him at the school anymore. He needs to go to where he's zoned, which is the school by your house, on the east side. And so I was like, okay. So eventually I transfer over to the east side school. Just after one semester, maybe half a semester into that school, I get into a fight They put me in this thing called ICU, which is intensive care unit, I want to call it, or I don't know. It was some ICU thing, which was like for people who were like in trouble, and where you had to like deal with counselors and all sorts of nonsense. And like you're supposed to only be in there for like a week, but they left me in there for like 3 weeks or 3 weeks. And like they just kept trying to extend it. Like, nah, he's not ready to go back to regular classrooms. And it was like, what the freak? So then because of that, eventually my mom was like, you know what? I'm just going to put you on homeschool. And she did. She put me on homeschool. Were the black kids at school nice to me? Yeah, it was just like any other people. I was actually pretty high, popular kid in junior high. And long story short, they put me, my mom put me on homeschool, but she was working full time. And yeah, from that point until the 9th grade, I didn't do any schoolwork. I was just at home by myself. And since my mom was gone, like we had these paces. It was part of this school. It's called Maranatha Christian School. It's a private school. The same school I had done in the 4th grade. So now for 7th and 8th grade, I'm supposed to be doing these things. And like they have you test in the beginning, and I tested super duper duper high. So I was super advanced, but I never did my work. So then it's like, yeah, you tested here, but you haven't done any work. Now in elementary, I had already taken some classes at the college. I had already been placed in gifted classes. So like I was already super duper 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 sharp. So by the time 7th and 8th grade come around, like we're learning algebra and geometry and stuff, but it's like, yo, I've already taken college level algebra at this point, like in the 5th grade. So I'm like even still going to be freaking bored. And they didn't have GATE in junior high. And so long story short, now I'm on homeschool. I'm literally not doing any work. Every single day I wake up, I get on my computer, I start programming in QBasic just because I was like doing it for fun. And I would play like hours and hours of Yahtzee and then play a bunch of Super Nintendo until my mom got off of work at 5. And then she'd be like, what are you doing? Like, da 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 da. And I hadn't done anything. Oh, and one other thing I had done, actually. I got no punishment. When I gotten like suspended in junior high, my mom put me in my room for 2 weeks. She was like, you're not leaving your room for 2 weeks. I was on punishment. No phone, no video games, obviously. Just be in your room for 2 weeks. Now, all of my older siblings had their textbooks, and a lot of them would forget to turn them back in. And I started out during this 2-week period just reading through all the books because I was so bored. Not textbooks. Originally, we had some entertainment books, and I just read through all of those books. Then I got so bored and there was nothing to do, I started reading all the textbooks. So I read all of these textbooks for grades that were higher than mine still, like literally just reading them. And so by the time we were done, I had gone through every book in that bookshelf. And I have a really good memory when I read things. And so long story short, I think that also was probably why I was so advanced. But long story short, didn't do any schooling 7th and 8th grade. Literally just none. I mean, I had straight Fs in the 7th grade when I was actually in the school. And then on homeschool, I literally did no assignments. I spent like 3 weeks over at my Uncle Phil and Aunt Sagata's house because they were supposed to catch me up. And they had me working overtime. You can't make up a year and a half worth of work in 3 weeks. And then I went back home and they're like, okay, well, he's on the right track now to like, if he does this many by this time, now you just got to keep up with him. Of course, my mom didn't keep up with me. So I just didn't do any schooling. So then by the time I went to the 9th grade, I had no 7th and 8th grade education. Reading the back of the shampoo bottle. It was that, bro. It was that, Shiki. I just needed entertainment. I just needed to read. Long story short, I finished it. Everything was good. Now it's set. You know, like I needed to test in the 9th grade. I tested into all honors classes, and they were like, "Okay, you ready to go?" Like, and so then I did the 9th grade, but I failed all those classes. I was still like getting in trouble. I got in so much trouble that they put me on this program called, I want to say 410s, but it's not 410s. I don't know. It's a schedule that the seniors have where after lunch you go home because you're just not even taking the final 2 classes. They put me on that as a freshman because I was just in so much trouble. And again, I think I was a pretty bad kid. I was not particularly disciplined. I don't think in my freshman year I was being like a bad kid. I think that these people just didn't like me. For instance, they were always like busting me because I would have my t-shirt out. And back in my freshman year, they said you had to tuck in your t-shirt. You couldn't have any shirts outside of your pants. I would always not do it, but nobody did it. But then they would be like, the VP would come out and look and see, oh, you got your shirt? Hey, yeah, you come and we're writing you up. And so I was always going to detention. I was always getting in trouble. My English teachers literally hated me. There was like a group of the English teachers that I had like ran through, and they were all just like, yo, like just like hating on me. And I finally got to this one teacher who is still my friend on Facebook to this day, named Stephanie Riddle. And she was Miss Riddle. She was like the first teacher that was like kind of cool. But I got in trouble in her class too. Cause some retard kid, I don't know if he wasn't retard. He was handicapped though. He like had like a limp. He walked kind of weird. We got in some sort of argument, and this nigga literally started trying to like fight me. And I didn't fight him back. All I did was block a punch and push him away, and then I got in trouble. It was like, wait, what? Nigga, I didn't fight him. I defended myself the best way I could, and I never punched him. I didn't fight. What? Got suspended 5 days. They were trying to talk about expelling me. The freak. So then at that point, I got put on homeschool. So for the second semester of 9th grade, homeschool. I actually did that work though. 10th grade, the whole year, homeschool. 11th grade, go back to school. That was a good year. My best friend finally went to the school. He's a year younger than me, but he was 2 grades lower than me because I started school earlier. He started later, whatever. So he was finally in school. So because we were 2 grades apart, and so that was like one of my favorite years of high school. It was my favorite year of high school. Finished that senior year. I go away to another school. I have to enroll myself because my parents ain't about it. Yada 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 yada. I get into the school. Everything is going good. I'm not doing well in my classes still. Once again, that was the first time I ran into a problem in a math class. I just didn't know how to study, and I didn't understand the math like intuitively, and I was failing that class, and it was like psychologically damaging for me for sure. Because for forever I was just like, I never ever understood how school was hard at all, and I had never been challenged in my entire life. And then I finally get into a math class, and I get there in the middle of the class, so they've already like kind of gone on because I didn't get to start from the very beginning. Because of all the hoops I had to go through. I had to lie and say I was living with someone else and all sorts of nonsense. But long story short, I got into that school and I was behind in the math and I couldn't understand it. And I was trying to understand and catch up and I couldn't. And I was not performing well. And it was like mind boggling. Like, hey, I'm struggling. And I remember from that point on for a while, I was just like, yo, what if my smartness went away? What if I hit my limit? It was awful. It was awful. Like, but long story short, my dad and I got in an argument because eventually the way I got into the school, at first I went with one of my exes. Her mom was going to help me get into the school using her address, but they were like, yeah, we need some sort of proof that he lives there. So I don't know. And so then I couldn't do that. Then I eventually was with my dad, and he's like lived somewhere because him and my mom had split for a while. And so then he like enrolled me into this school. And so I was going there, even though I really lived on the east side, so I wasn't properly zoned for the school because the school was on the west side. And long story short, got in some fights, got in some trouble, and they said, all right, listen, we'll let him finish out this one semester. Or no. My dad and I got into an argument, and he came to unenroll me from the school. And when he unenrolled me from the school, like my mom went to the school and was like, hey, he's in the middle of a semester, at least let him finish the semester before you unenroll him. And they said, okay, fine. And so then they let me finish the semester, then they unenrolled me from the school. And because I guess that was his punishment. He knew I wanted to go to that school, and he was like, yeah, I'm about to come there, and da-da-da-da-da. My mom's sitting there telling him like, nigga, don't you're gonna hurt his education. He didn't care. He was upset. So he unenrolled me. And so then at that point I'm back on homeschool. Did no homeschool, so I just had to test out of school. So in reality, but when I was in the 10th grade, I did do the work. I did like my mom would drop me off at this building. It was the name of the school was Options for Youth, which now became Opportunity for Learning. It was a charter school, and she would drop me off at the bus stop at 8:00 or like 7:45 before she would go off to work, and I would just be sitting there. The school didn't open up till 10 o'clock. So I would just be sitting there at this like shopping plaza from 7:45 until from 7:45 until 10 o'clock with like nothing to do. And so what I would do a lot of times is I would just sit at the bus stop and do the work that I was supposed to do over the week. Like, because I went to school twice a week, and I was supposed to, like, okay, you get your books on Wednesday, and then do all the work until Monday, and then you go there and you test on the next 2 chapters of the book, and so on and so forth. And I would not. So then I would just, that morning when I would wake up, I would go to the sit on the bus stop, do all the work right there, like cram it all, and then like go take the test, 100% it, correct the teacher, like, hey, no, that's not right. I'm telling you what my answer is right. Because it was like Scantron test, and anytime I got a miss, it'd be like, no, which ones did I miss here? And then we would go through it, and I'd be like, no, and I would remember exactly where it said it. Here's the page. This is what it said, because I had just crammed it, right? I just done it that day. So I'd be like, yeah, no. This is the answer. My answer is correct. This test is wrong. And she'd be like, reading it. Okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay. Then she would like put a mark on it, and I would get 100% on all the tests. And she gave me some Sparks tickets. And of course, I didn't go to that Sparks game. Because like if the person who had the highest, if you got 100% on tests, then you got like free Sparks tickets. But at least, again, in the 10th grade, I actually did the schoolwork because I had to. I had no choice. I was, I'm just sitting there bored, and I was going to have to take a test. And so I just did that for like that whole year and a half. And I would say by that time, like that was like my education again. Because like I hadn't educated myself in the 9th grade. I failed all those classes and wasn't really paying attention in class. I hadn't educated myself in the, obviously 7th and 8th grade, I had no education. And then senior year, I had no education. So it's like, in reality, man, it's crazy because I went through education, but I really had to educate myself like 90% of it. Like me doing like the college algebra and stuff, like I chose to do that. And then I think in the 10th grade, my mom enrolled me at the community college again. And so I was taking supplemental math classes while I was in high school. So it was like, I was constantly doing this extracurricular stuff to learn because I wasn't getting my education from the education system. And by the time my senior year happened, I wasn't doing any work, and my parents couldn't really control me at that point. So I just really wasn't listening, and I was like behind. And finally, I just took a test. I just tested out. And it was like, okay, well, yeah, you're done. Because up to that point, I just wasn't going to do it. Like I just had no discipline. So I didn't do education on 9th, 11th, and 12th grade. It was gross.
Boy, I love women. They love me. They've done me well.
Yeah, not facts.
So in short, I keep committing crime, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm still doing what I was doing. And then there was one point at which I ran this mission with the homies, and I'm not gonna say what happened. It's in my book. It's not something I'm proud of. But long story short, we ran this mission. And at the end of the mission, I was like, damn, like I'm a despicable person for having been a part of what we just did. Yeah. I was like, I got to change my life. I can't keep doing this. And in my book, you can read like exactly what happened. But at that point, I was like, all right, I'm going to do what she telling me.
Hey, real quick, Elron. Why do you need me to debate one of those people? If you follow their content and you're familiar with their argument, why don't you just talk to me? Why are you off-putting the debate to someone else?
To do.
Yeah.
Because all I got to do is follow directions. I could do that. I did that, got a damn near perfect score on the SAT, and I'm black. You heard me?
Damn, on the SAT too?
Yeah. I got a damn near perfect score on the SAT, had like a 3.9 GPA, and I'm black. So it was like, I pretty much go wherever I want to go.
Of course.
So, but I was a hood kid, so I'd never been anywhere.
Yeah.
So I got into schools that I probably should have went to because they were higher ranking than Berkeley, but I didn't want to go too far. I actually wanted to go to UCLA because it was what I was familiar with. I'm an LA kid.
Really UCLA?
UCLA, right?
Yeah.
But Mrs. Smith was smart. She said, you know what? You go to UCLA, you're, in her terms, your hood rat gang member friends are going to be over there.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and they're going to fuck you. Excuse me, they're going to
fuck
mess
you up.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
They're going to mess you up. She was like, so we're going to send you up to Berkeley. I went up there sight unseen, never visited it. It was, first day, time to go to school. I went up there.
Dominated.
And, did my thing.
Yeah.
Had a good time, learned a new world, and, I was off to the races.
Man, cause we're like the opposite, right? So like I was the kid where my parents also like a proposition to school to have me take the IQ test, right? Okay. Cause I was somebody who got great grades. I'm talking about great grades, right? But they sort of equated a kid who tried hard and overachieved to intelligence.
You're diligent.
Yeah. So when I took it though, guess my score? a 95, right? Okay. So right, but I think the cutoff was like 125 for like the gifted program, which I did not make it, right? But like I always say this though, right? If God made me about 15 to 20 IQs higher, I would have been a dropout. I would, right? Because it gets boring once you know too much, right? Like if I know a lot, if I know that I'm just smarter than everybody else, how do I go to class and have a stupid ass teacher teach me something, right? Right,
I had arguments with my teachers.
So for you, it's kind of like, damn, like that's actually like a really big deal that you actually like say, you know what, bro, I'm putting this shit on pause. I'm gonna now try hard because high IQ. Most people with high IQ don't really have a strong work ethic because things just come easy. But once they do, I guess, grow that strong work ethic, they end up like you, man. Where now you're like just like
online
just killing
IQ
shit,
tests
right?
Are pretty garbage.
Now once you guess like went like passed through, you know, like through Berkeley, Johns Hopkins.
I thought they
now when did you say?
I thought they always tried to make everyone feel like a genius.
What was the first company you started before content creating?
Shoot, bruh. I've done a lot, and one thing I always remind people of is that you only got to win one time.
Absolutely.
You feel me? You only got to win one time. You heard
Absolutely,
me?
one hit.
Yeah. I got a lot I can name, but the first legitimate business that I did that had the potential to pass the $1 million mark was a company called Hobby Buddy. It was a tech company, but I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I took a political science degree at Berkeley. I took a degree in education with a focus on instructional technology at Johns Hopkins University. So I didn't really know much in general, right? And so I created this company, which for consumer-facing, consumers really liked it. Investors wouldn't back it, one, in part because I didn't have the proper background. Yeah. And most importantly, I didn't have a proper business model. Revenue model wasn't there. The dollars weren't coming in. Yeah. Investors will invest in you no matter what color you are, as long as you can turn things green.
Absolutely.
So I learned a lot, and that was like taking an MBA. And a lot of people ask me, Marquette, should I go back to university, get a business degree, or do X, Y, and Z? I'm like, no. They let me give lectures at top MBA programs. Yeah. Chicago, Booth, all that. Yeah, I've been there. I've given lectures there, and I don't have an MBA. Yeah. Because most of what you're learning there, you're doing case studies on Fortune 500 companies. Right? Like, you're learning how to be a good C-suite employee.
A worker.
Yeah, precisely. So Hobby Buddy was my favorite first company because it was started from joy and passion. I was sophomoric, and it was a great education. And from there, man, you know, we got it going.
Yo, listen, talk that ish, man. Yeah. What company made you?
I don't know. Is it just me? I feel like when he's talking, I'm listening to the words he's saying. It almost is like he has a stupid voice. You know, like whenever I'm about to say something stupid, people can tell you, like my close friends can all tell me like, hey, you're doing stupid voice. So I can't troll because they can all tell like, oh, he's about to say something still silly. Like this is not genuine. I feel like the second he goes to like, you can hear he's doing stupid voice and then he says, you dig. Like, and you can hear it. And it's just like, oh, he's not really trying to communicate anymore. He's just trying to sound away. It's weird.
The first level of some type of wealth.
The first one is a little known company, and what people don't realize is when you're dealing with private companies, and B, you're dealing with acquisitions. Yes. Often these things are not talked about in the public for good reason. Sometimes an acquiring company will buy your company to kill it. Yeah. Sometimes they'll buy it to innovate within their company, but sometimes they buy it to kill it. Long story short, I at the same time, and there's a guy with a genius IQ who he was asked, you know, what do you do when you have two good opportunities and you can't tell which way to go with a fork in the road? Yeah. He said, go down both sides. So I'm running a company that at the time had been renamed to Fletch, which was doing really well for me. Yeah.
How are you sure he's entirely a scammer? Do you think everything he's saying here is a lie? Like, you don't think like the fact that he was a hood kid, you don't think he was like legitimately a hood kid? You don't think that he actually like scored particularly high on those tests? You don't think that like he tested out of high school? You don't think he went to the colleges that he went to? Because so far, these are the things that he's talking about. Like, all that stuff sounds like accurate. Do you think none of that stuff is verifiable? Because like, I get like, we just want to like do the quick label thing, you know, like the retards on Twitch do, but like, in reality, like I'm saying, like I don't know.
Taking me around the world, doing really well for me. Then I had
Do you think the Hobby Buddy thing is a lie?
an idea, which I thought was a stroke of genius, because when I was in South Korea, I went to South Korea to open an office in Pyeonggi.
Yeah.
And so, and doing a lot of other things there. It was lovely.
Yeah.
I had the finest Korean teacher you ever wanted to see. You heard me? Oh, Lord.
stuff you
geez,
can-
I'm still mad about
Fine
it,
as
but-
hell, probably.
Lord.
You can,
but anyways, when I
you
was
can
there, I
trace those
realized,
things on
one, that
LinkedIn.
Americans don't have the fastest internet in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Americans are overpaying for their internet. You know,
Absolutely.
we're talking about our broadband, DSL, cable internet, all that stuff.
That's not fair. Like, yeah, we don't have the fastest internet in the world because ping is an actual thing. And if you look at like the country of South Korea, it's like about the size of California, the state. Yeah, of course you guys have the best internet infrastructure. Let's compare Japan. Like the total area of Japan is like slightly larger than the total area of California, right? Total area of Japan. 145,937 square miles, right? Oh, is it smaller? So Japan is 145,937 square miles, and California is 163,000. So think about this. Japan only has to do infrastructure for something the size of the the state of California, which, albeit this is the third largest state, so this is a huge state, but we're talking about an entire country. Hell, the Texas like doubles it. What are we talking about? It's not about population density. What are you talking about? When you're talking about internet infrastructure, it's not about population density. It's about the fact that you have to make sure that you like ping is just literally distance. That is the thing. That's the biggest determining factor for ping. Like, and so when you're going from one end to the other end, ping is going to be a thing. But whether they were densely populated or not would not change anything about the ping and the internet. All right, we're going to move on.
Stuff. We're overpaying. We don't have the fastest internet. I was like, how's that work out? That's unexpected. We're the most powerful, wealthiest country in the world. I was like, okay. So we have high prices. That means that there's when you do customer segmentation, there are portions of the market that can't afford high-speed internet or don't want to afford high-speed internet.
Yes.
And so I was thinking, like, how many of these customer segments are left in the dark, but it's a significant pool of money that can be accessed.
Yeah.
So, for example, say you're looking at Comcast Cable, their beginner internet package, say it's like $40 a month. A low-income family might be able to afford $20 a month.
Absolutely.
And where do they live? They live in apartments generally, right? Tenements. And so long story short, what I did was this, because I currently was the CEO of a thriving technology company with investors and institutional investors, and some of which are founders of some of the biggest tech companies in the world, which I know you've personally used, everyone in this room has. But you cannot say, okay, I'm the CEO of this company. I'm also going to found another company and be CEO of that company at the same time.
Absolutely.
Your investors are going to get mad. Things are going to get shaky.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you're Elon Musk. That's a whole different level.
Yeah.
But what I did was I had a girlfriend I was dating at the time. A little, like, she grew up Mennonite, if you know what that is. Is a very religious Christian. She grew up, like, in rural Pennsylvania.
God damn.
Around the Amish.
Amish, wow.
Yeah, so
but
she was, like,
are you saying that that's
super
false?
off the grid,
Like, I don't
simple,
know.
good.
I don't know if that works.
Pure. Follow directions, too.
Pure, yes.
So the direction was, I was like, shorty, we playing Simon Says. Guess who
Hey,
Simon
you playing
is?
Simon Million?
Here go the plan in the script. Yeah.
Follow it.
So I said, look, I'm going to start this company. You're going to be the CEO.
Oh, wow.
I'll be the CTO.
Yeah.
And you'll be the top line person. I'll be the bottom line person. I'll be in the shadows, but I'll do everything. Every now and then I need you to go give a pitch or, X, Y, and Z. But I'm going to get all the business done.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also had, before that, opened an office for my tech company, Fletch, in northern Michigan, in a yachting community. I met a good guy over there who's very cash liquid. So I put some cash in. He put some cash in. We then went to New York, deployed this technology. It was called Why Not, WINOT, Why Not. And the idea is like, why not share your Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Right. So you can share your Wi-Fi with your neighbor in the next door
Oh, wow.
apartment. Right.
Okay.
So what I was allowing you to do, if you're paying $40 a month for internet, now you're paying 20 because this person is paying you monthly and we're handling the billing. So it's like a recurring amount of money sent to you and we just take our small cut.
Yeah.
$2-3.
Yeah.
We get the whole building. We got 200 people doing it. We're spending that around monthly recurring revenue. And guess how much infrastructure we needed? Almost none. We're just a payment processing platform, essentially. I'm not going to name any names, but there are a lot of large telco companies in South Korea where they have superior internet. Which makes it better for sharing. And they also are into tenement living in South Korea. They don't have single family detached in Seoul, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is perfect for that environment.
Yeah.
So long story short, there's a large telco company that's, hey, I like what you're doing. Here's the number. We can talk about it.
I hope you're referring to British broadcast channel.
That's the number.
Shit, here, take it, man.
Throw 20% on top of it. And we call it a day. You take everything. You take everything. You want this jacket. You take everything.
Take it all, man.
So, did that deal. And, before we finished the deal, actually, Forbes ended up doing an article on the technology when we did our first deployment in New York. And so we were getting popping. We closed the deal real quick, and then lights went out on everything. That's why you don't hear about it after that.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
And so it's always funny to me on the internet when you hear people say, like, oh, so-and-so's not this or he ain't done that. I'm like, how many of your internet gurus who are teaching you, how many were in Forbes? Like, that's not a blog, my boy. Like, that's that's
actually Forbes, right?
Yeah, that's not a blog, my boy.
Yo, right? And why I asked that because I wanted the people to know
that's
who
a
they're
scam,
dealing with. Before we even dive into the content creator shit,
I appreciate that. Yes,
I
sir.
wanted them to know the caliber of human being we're dealing with, right? Because like when we talk about the content creation,
be quiet.
Like
man,
they tend to box in
we
content
never
creators
probably
in
do
like
that
a certain
again.
right,
I had to
and
make
like
them
judge them off their
good
stuff.
now.
But like we're dealing with a dude who made millions before even touching the fucking.
So let me ask Rory, do you think that that's a scam? Do you think that he's lying about the whole Forbes thing? Do you think he's lying about selling that company? Do you think he's lying about that technology? Like which parts do you think? So you just think everything he's saying is a scam, or do you think any of this stuff is actually valid?
YouTube channel, right? So now let's transition into when did you say, yo, you know what? I'm about to start a YouTube channel, and why? Because a lot of people will say that the big homie started a YouTube channel to start a cult and to kind of like, right? And to be influential.
I'm a cult leader t-shirt.
Yeah.
I got a supervillain t-shirt. You did?
Yeah, man, come on.
I am the bad guy out here in a real way. But it gets
Speak
like
on
that. Well, number one, it is no measure of good health to be well adjusted in a sick society. You dig?
Bro, that's a bar right there.
Yeah.
Wait. Say it again one time, bro. They missed it. They might have missed it.
It is no measure of good health to be well adjusted in a sick society.
Man, that's a bar.
So, number one, there are a lot of cults.
I'm not kidding you. It's crazy. I would be very uncomfortable being sucked this hard on this camera. I can't. I don't know what's going on. Like, and it's gross because that is a bar. It's actually a really good thing. Like I like it. It's a super. It's very aphoristic. It's great. I give you that. I'm not particularly good with aphorisms, but I can't have somebody sucking me this hard. Like that just feels, like I said, insanely uncomfortable, and like that he's just doing it. The guy's just like openly filleting him. It's gross. I don't know. Does this not feel uncomfortable to anybody else watching? It seems too much
going on that we don't appropriately address.
Yeah.
I grew up around one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets into the Destiny beef in a little bit.
PDL.
Oh, wow, that's a gang, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds.
I grew up around one of them.
Mm-hmm.
West Side Denver Lane PDL.
Oh, wow, that's a gang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Denver Lanes. Weren't they Pasadena Denver Lanes? And you dissed them by calling them Dangalanes. I'm pretty sure. PDL gang. Pasadena Denver Lanes. Yeah. And you, how do you diss them? I think I'm telling you diss them by calling them Dangalanes. They were beefing with the gang that my family members were from.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds serious.
Yeah. They have a language.
Yeah.
Blood, I'm bigging back being boo, boking on the bing bing, blood.
Yeah.
Okay, they got a language. They have religious practices, including dances and songs. Sweet Daddy got dick. Sweet Daddy gets active. You heard me?
Yeah.
Yeah. They got their own little dances, kind of like when people catch the Holy Ghost in church. And they even have their armies, and they commit indiscriminate murder based on color.
Crime, yeah.
How often do we see the goofy African-American population call out that cult?
Like that at all.
And what do they teach you to
my
do?
brain saw that.
On the enemy,
Yeah.
blood. Blood, I'm a bust on the crab, blood, I'm active. Yeah. And they even have their own markings that go along with it. I got homies I didn't bring here on purpose.
Yeah, of course.
Homies I didn't tell that I'm back here.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds OD.
they
I
got
need that.
A CK on their neck. They got people hood on their forehead, whacked out.
Yeah.
No, that's a dangerous cult.
Yes.
Then what do? Peep this. So I'm chilling with my folks last night. People in LA I grew up with.
Yeah.
They doing what people
Yeah, I don't know.
hang out. You heard me hop in the koozie, turn on the TV, watch the game.
I don't know that it means he's not a
Have
million.
some
What are you talking
barbecue,
about?
have some
I don't know how you
drinks.
get those two.
I ain't touch a drop of alcohol. Yeah, we could call it a cult. I call it the assassin. You know, we don't engage in intoxicants. Why? Because it will destroy you.
Absolutely.
And I know for a fact
He always uses the word such and such will destroy you. I remember him saying specifically, masturbation will destroy you. Porn will destroy you. Now, I've heard him saying alcohol will destroy you. He uses those phrases.
destroy you.
I didn't know he uses that
'Cause
so
I've seen
frequently.
it my whole life.
Yes.
Especially destroying people of color.
Yes.
Now that's number one. Then number two, when we woke up early. Hey fellas, what y'all up to? Fantastic. Yo, suit up. We about to get this work in. 30 minutes of sweat every day. Exercise is prayer. Sweat is the holy water. Yeah,
Absolutely.
We gonna nourish ourselves.
That sounds like he's describing a cult.
We're gonna get that exercise in. We got a 3-sentence Bible. Number one, be yourself.
Yes, sir.
Number two, be good to yourself.
Yes, sir.
Number three, be good to good people. Nowhere in what I share do I say, praise me or be like me. I tell you the opposite. Be like you. Figure out who you are. Be that. And show the best of who you are. You heard me? Now, only a wicked, evil, psychotic person could misunderstand a guy who says, don't drink alcohol, don't smoke cigarettes, mind your good health, be responsible, take good care of people. Oh, and by the way, let me help you figure out how to make $1.
That sounds like literally most religions, right? I don't know, because I mean, that's isn't that a lot of that stuff, even Buddhism and stuff? I feel like most religions, those would be the basic tenets of it. I mean, hell, conservative Christianity is don't drink alcohol, don't do intoxicants, be the best version of yourself that you can be good to be. Well, it says be good to everyone, not just good people. But I don't know. It sounds like you kind of And then literally when he's being asked if it's a cult, the first thing he does is compares it to a religion or gangs, but then uses the religious symbolism to describe the thing. Come on, man.
Because it turns out Wu-Tang told you, cream. Cash rules everything around me.
Yes.
Last month, I sent out $13,000 to my fans. Not a handout, because I don't believe in handout. I believe in cold capitalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I taught them how to create products. I helped them with that process to get it all the way from ideation to market.
Yes.
And then if they needed a design, I gave them a design. Like these very shoes right here, I designed these shoes.
Those are sweet, man.
I appreciate you, Playboy.
Those are amazing.
And I let one of my fans, one of the saints,
Yeah.
take this design as his own, and he sells it, and he makes the money.
Oh, wow. That's love.
And I've done that about 23 different times. You can go to thesassin.com, THESASN.com, and it'll say, Joe Blow, product. When you click buy, he gets the money.
Wow.
No one's doing that.
Absolutely not.
And most importantly, the biggest issue
Sounds like he's really
as they would call
empowering
it,
people to this
foundational
cult.
Black
I'm
Americans,
kidding. I
shout
don't know
out
if it's
to
a cult.
Tariq, has been economic.
Oh,
as they
no.
would call it, foundational Black America. Most importantly, the biggest issue for as they would call it, foundational Black American, shout out to Tariq, has been economic.
He's on board.
And all the people who
I actually
would
respect
purport
this
to be
nigga.
leaders, what they
Yeah, I don't believe
usually
he's
do is,
scamming nobody.
hey, donate to my school.
Yeah. Umar Johnson.
Hey, donate to my fill in the blank.
Yeah.
My school. People who would purport to be leaders, what they usually do is, hey, donate to my school.
Yeah. Umar Johnson.
Hey, donate to my fill in the
don't
blank.
get into the division.
I'm the only one that said, here it is to you. Like, I'm not asking you to give to me. I'm giving it back to you.
Yes, absolutely.
And whatever you gave to me, you're going to get it back in spades.
Yes.
So I think that's a radically different thing. If people, I've never heard anyone say to me,
Yeah,
like,
of course not.
you know, but you know, the saying the center nation, you dig,
You got
Sasson
hands.
or
You feel-
nothing.
yeah, listen, you got hands, right? So they know,
Yeah.
like, no, feel me, not to come to you with that fuck shit.
Yeah, and in real life, to be honest with you, I remember I was in the gym recently. It was funny. I'm hitting a heavy bag, and it was two guys lifting near me. And I think because they saw me hitting the heavy bag, they're talking about something that had happened to one of their partners. He got gunned down. And they're like, you know, that's some coward stuff, man. You should just fight it out. And, you know, like, you can't just go around shooting people. And in my head, I was like, I don't fight strangers.
Yeah.
Because when I was coming up, they'd air you out.
Absolutely.
You might win that fight and get aired out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you could die in the fight. If I don't know you, bruh,
yeah, I'm good.
may God have mercy on both of us, because I'm going to go hard.
Yeah, of
and
course.
that's why I tell my people, I said, be a serious man.
Yes.
Watch what you say. You don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about me. I'm saying in general.
Yeah.
You could be a complete psychopath. I don't want to find out. I'm going to be polite to you.
I don't know what
want
that
to find
comment is
out.
related to, Cat 7.
You got black people are so misguided, and the Sasson's for all of humankind. But I'm just mentioning black folks because we'll probably talk a little bit later. I had to correct a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to it. You feel me?
They'll say like, oh, so-and-so ain't hood, so-and-so ain't this. Was Jeffrey Dahmer hood? He didn't call more bodies than anybody you know.
Absolutely.
Is he hood? He doesn't look like a savage. You heard me?
Nah, that's a fact.
Yeah, he ain't covered in tattoos. So it's like, be polite, show respect to people. You'll live a good, prosperous life.
Nah, absolutely.
But just for the record, in case people want to know,
yeah.
I'm really what I say I am, and I hope we don't ever have to find out.
Nah, that's a fact, man. Now, let's speak on the quote-unquote manosphere. Now, I always say there's the manosphere, then there's the manosphere, meaning like we have this generic red pill term for the manosphere, but then there's like the trenches of the manosphere. Now, did you go into content creating saying, yo, I'm going to enter into the manosphere, or was it just by accident? Because you actually went in and like said something very important. I'm an apex predator, and my goal is to hunt alpha males. That was a bar. That was prolific.
Yeah.
And then I seen you absolutely obliterate a couple niggas, but I think the first nigga was Sinful to P.
That wasn't the first, and it won't be the last. Yeah, no, he wasn't the first. There's a couple before him.
Yeah.
We call him criminal to pedophile. You heard me? Yeah, in real life, he got
really?
cases.
Wow.
And I went through this in one of my videos. He actually has cases for his crimes, which are not only illegal, but immoral. That's the issue. It's immoral.
Yeah.
You don't go out and get a black girl who's age 13 pregnant.
Wow.
While you're in your late 20s.
Wow.
You don't do
I don't
that.
know.
That's
to
sick.
destroy, I'm guessing.
It's very sick.
Very.
And it's upon men to establish moral law,
Obliterate
and
means
most importantly, to
photosynthesis.
enforce it.
Yes.
And one of the strange things about the internet, you could be anybody you want to be. Half these boys is reinvented. That's what kills me about the manosphere. I'm like, how y'all talking about women, but y'all ain't never got women? You done reinvented yourself in college like DJ Fatademics. You heard me?
Ooh.
Yeah, he was a loser his whole life. Said it on Vlad TV. When I was in high school, I was the weird Jamaican kid. Nobody wanted to hang out with me. Yeah, that's because you got a fat face and you have a bad personality and you can barely speak English, bruh. Yeah, that's why.
What?
You done
going
reinvented
on?
yourself. But I say all that to say this. When I came
Why
in, I
did he
didn't have
do
no respect
that?
for anybody
What?
because I didn't come from an environment where we pretend to respect you if we don't.
Yeah.
I came from an environment where we will confront you.
Yeah.
When you walk up and we don't know you, blood, where you from, blood?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so-and-so cousin? Well, so-and-so ain't here, blood, kick rocks.
Yeah.
I came from that.
Yes.
So that's how I get down. I'm not going to pretend I respect you when I don't.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they out here lying.
Absolutely.
How are you teaching people ism when you over here trafficking children? That's why real dudes
But he was
are
thinking about all
getting these
Jamaicans.
long
He was talking about
sentences because it
academics.
went from pimping to sex trafficking due to you trafficking innocent minors.
Wow.
So you've done a great disservice to the whole game, to the child, and also to real P's that's out here trying to make some paper. You did.
Wow. How did he come on your radar?
You can't say everything that you've been saying about morality and all these things and then truly try to describe yourself as a legitimate pimp or talk about the legitimacy of pimping as if it isn't like at its absolute core extortion and exploitation. Come on.
Thank you for asking me that. And here's the funny thing. Every time you hear me speak up on somebody, bruh, I'm thorough, man. I don't ever speak up on a man without banging his line. Hey, let me holler at you real quick, bro. Like you did X, Y, and Z, or you said X, Y, and Z that I have an issue with. I don't ever bring anybody out the blue. In his case, it was unique. For a whole 2-year period, he made 9 videos talking about the big homie.
That's stalkish.
Yeah.
That's.
And in my video, I actually had my editor chop it up. I was like, bro, go get all the evidence. So I play it where you could hear him constantly bringing up the same, the center.
That's insane.
Now, the thing is, I never said anything about Lil Buddy for a couple reasons. Number one, if you was a street dude, we ain't got to go on the internet.
Yeah, of course.
And last I checked, you were supposed to be in Las Vegas. Well, guess who the mayor now?
You.
I'm outside in Las Vegas. Matter of fact, I'm anywhere you find money and women.
Absolutely.
Yeah, always outside. And half the time I'm dolo because I'm an introvert. See what it do with me. But you out hiding in Canada.
Yeah.
And the reason you hiding in Canada is because you got open cases for playing with them children, boy.
Wow.
That's why you hiding out there.
Wow.
So you got an open invitation to see me in person. But here's the thing. I would have never spoke up on him if he didn't keep saying my name 9 times out of nowhere.
Bro, like I seen also too, like in like that community, the manosphere, like, I feel like that's what they do, right? Like they hop on these like live streams and talk about other men for 12 hours a day, right? And like I get confused, right? Because you actually give content, right? That's evergreen, meaning like I can go back 2 years and see you talking about how to be a righteous man, right? How to dress, how to talk to women, right? I can get some, I guess, advice and actually some like great meaty content, right?
Fine wine.
Opposed to the type of content from the majority of the manosphere, which is, again, like folks don't even know. There's the mainstream manosphere, then there's the trenches. The trenches is just about attacking other content creators. It's nothing else. Now, you squashed it with like Kevin Samuels before his death, right?
We can't.
I don't even know who that is. Let me look. Sinful the P. Oh, no, don't be a black person. No.
Hope 2023 the best year for you.
It's transition. It's a black person. Makes me unhappy.
And even you squash beef.
Yeah.
See, there was never any beef.
Thank you very much, Tanuki.
That, and I'm going to be very
Thank you so much. It is going to be the best year for me, bro. I'm working hard this year. I promise you.
So I'll be very brief about it.
Absolutely.
102 months.
As I
freaking
said, I've
insane
never
beast.
in my
Thank you so
whole
much.
life been a hater.
Absolutely
and
not.
I've never. I when I see people win, I'm proud.
I think
of
he is
them.
an immigrant.
You hear me? Shout out to you.
That's why he's in Canada now.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man.
A lot of respect.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be here without work ethic. You know what I'm saying?
Without you too, though, man.
Hey, I appreciate.
You feel me?
Thank you,
bro.
Thank
I
you.
was in a fucking college dorm room, like watching you, my nigga. You feel
Word.
me? Yeah, bro.
See, that's what adds it up for me.
Yeah.
Right there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Love, man.
Yeah. Look. Oh man. See, you about to get me emotional, bro.
Nah, come on, man. It's true, man.
That's what means something to me because I was in this world without guidance.
Yes.
Do you know how different and more efficient my path to success could have been if someone would have just gave me some game?
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Berkeley, I did not know what to study. I ended up in political science. not knowing it was some useless BS. You see what I'm saying? If an older man could have said, youngin, that don't pay, youngin.
Yeah, tech, in tech.
Yeah. Mess with this electrical engineering and computer science.
Yeah.
You know, mess with this accounting. Hell, mess with mortuary science. Something that will lead you to a vocation.
Absolutely.
Gainful employment.
I don't know about vocation.
Why did it make your path easier? So I appreciate that. Now, getting back to Mr. Samuels. So number one, and a lot of people don't know this story, and there's so many people that can vouch. And there's documentation.
Yeah.
When Kevin Samuels and I became familiar with one another, at that time I was more famous than he was. And I wouldn't even consider myself famous. The way I came to know him is one of my youngins DM'd me and said, Marquette, there are two people I get a lot of great advice from, you and Kevin Samuels. He gives me great business advice. I just did a consultation with him. You guys should do a collab. Now, I don't read all my DMs. My assistant reads the DMs. She'll sometimes respond if she knows what I'm going to say. She's been with me for 5 years, right? In my other businesses before this. She'll respond, or she'll do the requisite research and present the information. Hey, Marquette, they said this. Who's Kevin Samuels? It's this person. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to reach out, set it up? So she comes back and she says, you know, you're not going to like this. She says, so-and-so, which is one of my youngins that I've been mentoring for a while, says so-and-so said he paid this guy this money for a business consultation and you should do a collab. So I figured that'd be great. I researched him and I was going to reach out to him and say, hey, let's set up a collab. She was like, but I researched him and he doesn't have any requisite business experience that he could give advice to anyone, not paid advice. So I said, oh, say word. So I look into it and she was like, yeah, look at his website. And then I was like, okay, you know, that's sick. What do I do? Do I go on YouTube and make a video? No. I DM'd him on his Patreon. Hey, you know, this young man who's one of mine paid you this amount of money for a business consultation and we've checked and we don't believe you have the requisite experience to give business advice, not about a tech company, to this young man. Would you be kind enough to refund him? He didn't respond. Then we emailed him. He didn't respond. Then we reached out 2 more ways. And my assistant was doing all of this.
Documented too, by the way.
Correct. He never responded. So then I said, let hellfire rain down on him.
I'm not going to lie. This part right here is probably the most gangster part of this entire interview. This I can respect in every freaking way. Like, when your primary goal is to actually confront the issue and not try to make content out of it, not try to do the internet thing to try to gain popularity, it's literally just, hey, no, I'm going to be a real person about this, approach you about this and tell you what I believe is fair and so on and so forth. That's real nigga. I don't know. What else could you do in this situation? I think the fact that it's like, yo, I'm actually concerned for a boy. I'm not asking you to give me the money. I'm not to refund this kid his money. Like, you know, like, nigga, I don't know. That's kind of gangster. I want to see how this plays out. Literally, the first thing I ever saw from him was a Kevin Samuels video. So we'll see.
Because he's a dirtbag and he's scamming the youngins. That's not what an OG does. OG takes care of the youngins. You school the youngins. You game them up. You don't take from them. So at this time that I made the video, Kevin Samuels exposed, he was not famous. So that goes against the lie that you hear a lot of people say, you were clout chasing. He wasn't. When I made the video, I had more subscribers. I had more patrons. I was big to him.
Big.
I'm putting him on. He became famous because he was disparaging a black woman in the public sphere. Off some 100%. Maury Povich stuff.
100%.
Then after that, he started giving meaningful advice, which at his age, you should be able to do that.
Of course.
But when a young black man goes to you,
half of his advice wasn't meaningful.
On something you don't know anything about, and then another adult male addresses you and says, refund him, you should have just gave that little $80 back or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You should just gave that back.
Of course.
And I stand on that to this day. Now, as I said, I'm the mayor of Saint City. So he came through my city and he ain't say nothing. You heard me just show up. Somebody banged my line. Oh, hey, homie, right here. You want me to like... I was like, no, I'm down the street. I'm going to pull up. And this is a good story to tell.
Of course.
And I won't go into the details of what we talked about, but long story short, I'm at a certain resort, and I got a couple places on the strip. I'm at a certain spot. They're like, yeah, he at Bellagio right now. Pull up. Oh, for sure. Hop out the whip, wearing a bright floral shirt.
Man.
You heard me? Hop out the whip, doors go up. He sees me. I hop out. I'm walking straight at him.
Yeah.
He immediately, I could see that look in his face, like, oh.
Did he run or?
No, he didn't run.
Okay, steak?
No, he like stiffened up. And
Okay, gotcha.
It was kind of like one of those things like, oh, like, I've been set up kind of situation,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is not coincidental.
Ah.
So long story short, I walk up on him. First thing I say to him is like, hey, man, I said, and, you know, just make sure that this doesn't get flagged by YouTube, but like, I said X, Y, and Z about you. Essentially that you guzzle Skittles. Use a Skittle guzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, whether you guzzle Skittles or not,
Yeah.
that's not a proper thing to say because a lot of men follow you.
Yeah.
And I don't want people to think that about you if men follow you.
Absolutely.
I apologize to you
Oh,
because
wow.
I don't want anybody following you with you having the label of someone who guzzles Skittles when you're supposed to be teaching them how to be a man. Because that's not manly. He was like, I appreciate that. I was like, now you in my city, you ain't called, you ain't let me know you're coming through. I was like, you know, I could
Nigga,
do you a
Vegas.
favor out here.
Yeah.
It's Vegas.
And he's
Come
like,
on.
oh, you know, we should, you know, I'd be happy to collaborate with you. I'm about to go do X, Y, and Z. He's like, yeah, I got a penthouse here. I was like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Which I think he thought he was flossing on me. I was like, yeah, no, like, yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this is my number. Yeah, just call me and we'll put something together. So
Yeah.
he gave me his room number, what have you, and he was like, yeah, you know, we'll collaborate, blah, blah, blah. You know, next time I'm coming down, if you're in Atlanta, or I think he said he's going to Atlanta after that. But it was a cordial conversation. We exchanged a couple other words, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about it, too, and you've heard another YouTuber, and I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he wants his name said, but he's a friend of Kevin's.
Okay.
And he was like, you know what? I wanted to do a collaboration with you, Saint, but I didn't do it because I was a good friend with Kevin, and he used to talk so bad about you. And he said, when he sees you, he gonna knock you out.
Oh, man.
When he see you, he gonna knock you out.
Yeah, big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like 6'1".
Yeah.
He like 6'3", 6'4", something like that.
And you're definitely like 6'2", right? Or 6'3"-ish. Because
You never
I'm like,
know. I feel like a giant though.
Yeah,
You heard me?
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like a giant.
What is
out
happening
here.
here?
It don't matter though, man, because I didn't put some big boys. down.
Yeah.
yeah. And
You
they
tower
could-
over me for sure.
Yeah. Hey, look, somebody could be 9'80". I'm going in.
Yeah.
I'm going in. Yeah. It don't matter. But long story short, this YouTube cat, he said, yeah, you know, when he said when he see you, he gonna knock you out. I was like, word, that's crazy, because like he was like, oh, let's take a selfie. This will be funny. This will break the internet. So we smiling, taking selfies.
Yeah.
Right. And I told dude, I was like, you know, that's your homie. I don't know him.
Yeah.
But there was never a beef, so it was never a need to like come to blows over it. Number one.
Yeah.
And he's a mature gentleman. I would never expect him to do that.
Yeah.
I think he just made a mistake. His mistake was scamming that boy.
Yeah, correct.
And then the second mistake was when somebody addressed you, you ain't fess up.
Yeah, of course.
Those were the two mistakes. And I also made a mistake, which was I said he guzzles Skittles when he does. Well, I don't know if he does or
Yeah.
doesn't. I hear he went out and there was a super thick Latina
Yeah,
around
bad.
there. You heard me?
Yeah, bad one.
Yeah, praise the Lord. That's how I want to go out.
Yeah.
So apparently maybe he doesn't. And that's a mistake because we too often put that label on people, and that's not that's a despicable thing to call someone.
Yeah, effects.
So everyone should know that as a man, if you do something that's not right, righteous thing to do is correct it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And so, you know, he was actually the first person that got bodied in the public forum.
Oh, wow.
And that hurt a lot of other people's feelings. And then so the bodies just kept dropping.
Yeah. Here.
So this is weird to me. So he starts off, and you know he's scamming someone. That you first come to know this guy as a scammer. Birds of a feather do not flock to. Birds of a feather flock together. If I know you're a scammer, I have no interest whatsoever in dealing with you. I'm not collaborating with you. For what? Why would I? What business would I have collaborating with a scammer? He didn't refund that kid's money. You know that like half of the claims he's making are not true. As you've done the research, you've exposed him, and you meet him, and your first goal is to apologize to him for like lying about his sexual or making claims about his sexuality that you're not sure about. and now you want to collab with them. Why would you collab with the person you know is scamming? My brain can't get there. If I don't think you're an honorable person, I'm not working with you. What? How did you? Where did the beef get squashed? You should refund old boy's money. You're scamming more people. But I guess for clout. That's it.
Yeah, right. So like, I always say this, man. Like, you can never.
I don't even know why I'm spinning my head. I forget about that all the time.
As disrespect, no matter what form the truth is put in, right? So,
church,
right. So like, you were the first to, I guess, kind of, like, dive deeper into like Kevin Samuels' background.
Yeah.
And then I think he went on Vlad TV and.
He said he did on his number and all that.
Right? And like kind of confirmed deeper into like Kevin Samuels' background.
Yeah.
And first to, I guess, kind of form the truth is put in, right? So
kept dropping.
Yeah. Right. So like, I always say this, man, like, you can never take the truth as disrespect, no matter what form the truth is put in, right? So
church.
Right. So like, you were the first to, I guess, kind of, like, dive deeper into like Kevin Samuels' background.
Yeah.
And then I think he went on Vlad TV and kind of right? And like kind of confirmed a bunch of what you said about like how he never actually. Now I love Kevin Samuels, right? So again, Kevin Samuels fanboys finna take this as disrespect.
Yeah.
The truth can be no disrespect.
Right.
We just got to pay homage as homage is due.
What do you see? This is where the problem comes in. I don't know why people are jumping over themselves to try to justify or maintain this nigga's image if his image is fraudulent. That's crazy to me. The truth will set you free. You're about to be uncomfortable because you're about to speak the truth about this man, meaning that he obviously is presenting a lie. Because if he was telling the truth, then when you would tell the truth, it would just corroborate what he's saying. That means he died a liar. Why would that ever be a problem? I'm not taking that personal. Like, oh man, I'm about to expose the truth about this liar and this scammer who was leading young black men. That's a problem.
Where he did make a video 2 years prior calling out certain truths, and Kevin Samuels confirmed damn near everything you said about not actually having a degree, et cetera, right? So like, when you see he, I guess, admitted to it during like that interview, was it vindication? Like, yo, I've been told y'all this, man.
Nah, because my life has never been about tearing down.
Yeah.
My life has always been building. It's always been this way. And you'll find that people are hyper-focused on making others small because they think that'll make them feel big. I've always been the big homie my whole life. And that's why when I came in the YouTube game, I said, yeah, you could listen to so-and-so about how to get the females, or you can listen to the big homie and check my background. Like, I was voted best smile in high school. I was voted Mr. Irresistible. I was voted best dressed in high school. Like, which is irrelevant because it's high school, but it's verifying to you that the whole way through, I've been flying high. Absolutely. Like, I didn't reinvent. I'm telling you from the source. You say so-and-so wrote a book. Nigga, I am the book.
Yeah.
I'm the book. I'm the living word. Nigga, soak this up.
Yeah.
But anyways, with regards to him, I didn't feel like, yes, he admitted the lies. Because one thing I realized,
thank you, Deadly Radio.
Seekers of truth, they gonna mess with the truth all day, every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's my point. If you're a seeker of truth, and seekers of truth will mess with the truth all day, and you know that Kevin Samuels had been lying and scamming and misrepresenting, then why would you want to associate with that? That's crazy.
It was
Bro, I can't respect that at all.
That believed in things that were clearly not true. For example, just recently somebody said, oh, he didn't go to the universities he said he went to.
Oh, who said that?
A nut.
Oh, okay.
A nut.
Yeah.
A nut. And I'm on my live session. My assistant is there. She was like, and she gets appalled because when you've known someone over a long period of time and you've seen what they do behind the scenes, like people don't even know the things I donate money to, the places I volunteer around the world. Like, they have not the foggiest idea.
Absolutely.
But she knows and sees and writes checks. Like, when I do payroll and I paid out $13,000 last month, she knows the names of these young men who are 17 years old in Miami, 19 years old in Wisconsin. Like, she knows these people. She knows what I actually do. So she says, she was like, Marquette, they just said you didn't go to these colleges. She was like, not only did you go, here's a link. He's a distinguished alumnus. He's gotten awards from the Johns Hopkins University, which means among all the brainiacs who graduated, he one of them ones that they're saying you brought honor upon us.
Yes.
The degree gives you honor. They're saying you brought honor upon us. We're giving you an award.
Man.
And so I say that to say, like, if people are going to go in the comments and say he didn't graduate from those colleges, they could have easily just Googled my name and the college name, and they would have found that link themselves.
Absolutely.
But they didn't want to find it. And so increasingly I find in this media game, and I'm learning a lot because I'm not a show business guy.
Yeah.
I'm a business guy, I'm a tech guy.
A real one.
Yeah, so I'm learning, how they engage in their propaganda.
Yeah.
And we just turning it up and fixing things. And that's why I appreciate you being real enough to invite me on and a lot of other guys you've invited on. Because I see the kind of moves you're doing and you're adding something to No Jumper.
Tariq, you feel
and RZA, yeah, absolutely. Guys
me?
that probably, and even I heard Adam when you had, when Tariq was talking about, he's like, yeah, Adam said, well, you're in LA. I'm surprised we haven't already done this.
Yeah.
Well, it's happening now because you, right?
Yeah, man.
So I think that says a lot about you, and I appreciate that and I respect that.
Yo, like, I wanted to reach out sooner, right? But like, I always thought that you would have said no because it's kind of like, yo, bro, like.
Listen, it's really interesting because this guy definitely has a bit of a stutter, but he's still doing a podcast, and it's a particularly successful podcast with a stutter. It's kind of crazy. I don't know, like, you would know. I would imagine most people would tell you, "Oh, you're not really like you wouldn't be really fit for this." But I mean, I guess it just kind of goes to show you. You think in your brain that like, oh, impediments and things like that, like that they would like prevent, but people will always like push through and become those things regardless. Look at George Bush becoming the president, right? Where it's like, yeah, I failed. I lost my parents a bunch of money in business, and I've just been a C student forever, yada 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 yada. And then like, no, I'm just gonna keep doing it. Trump. It's like, yeah, nigga, my businesses have failed. I've done bankruptcies. Like I had a scam school shut down. Like lawsuits for like child molestation, all sorts of nonsense. Like. Yeah, just debauchery and retardation, like forever. But I had a successful television show, and now all of a sudden I'm the president of the United States. It's crazy. It just shows. And I'm not trying to diss this guy because I don't know him at all. I literally don't know him. I just know he is like filleting this nigga Saint real hard. Which I mean, it's maybe he genuinely respects him. I'm very forthcoming when I appreciate a person. This is just a bit more than what I feel comfortable ever doing. And I'm incredibly forthcoming, like with my praise when I admire a person, like publicly and privately. It's just crazy to see this juxtaposition. Person with the stutter have one of the most successful podcasts, and is black too, which they're looking for excuses for him not to be successful. Pick it.
You're traveling to Europe and just doing like 1,000 different things.
They OD'd. They was OD'd.
I never thought that like you would actually like come and sit down with No Jumper, right, and do like a like a tele interview, right? But now let's transition, man. Yeah. So academics, and you call him fat academics, right?
Livingston.
Now listen, I love both of you guys, right? But that Jamaican accent you did. Yo, how'd you practice that, bro? Like that?
I've been to the island. You heard me. I had me a couple of them things.
Yeah.
So
Man, why y'all beefing, man?
Nah, there's no beef because if it was a beef,
I don't know, bro. I like it. Clearly, the guy is intelligent, well spoken. He's doing his thing. He's successful, but like, I don't know why I just always want to cringe with certain just little things about it. It's just I don't know what the freak it is. We're just like, I don't know.
Yes.
If it was a beef,
the discourse.
It can't be a beef.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Who is he? Mm-hmm. Can't beef with me.
Oh, No Jumper is more than just this guy. I don't know this podcast. So this guy isn't the leader of this podcast?
I'm way out his caliber in terms of beef. You heard me?
Yeah.
He was beefing with a broad. What?
Who? Solidify?
Whoever the broad was. You see him like his buddy recording.
Okay, why would he not be here for this thing?
He took his hat off his head.
And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Disrespecting
this
in the
guy
public
is
sphere.
No Jumper.
You ain't never in life, Herb. You ain't never in life seen that with a guy or a girl disrespect me like that in public. Never in life. We not even cut from the same cloth. We can never beef. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't even want that.
Oh shit.
So that's out.
Oh,
we always just have to speak accurately on that because I don't want people to be like.
I get what you're saying. But the leader is the Adam 22 guy.
There are people who love me that actually know me in real life.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't want to say it's beef.
Yeah. Nah, that's a fact.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, as a fact. Yeah. Very careful,
Yeah. So
wait, how are you not calling it a beef when you what kind of word games are you playing? You just called him fat academics. And just talked about like, come on, what do you mean? Like, how is that not a beef? What does that mean? It's not judging.
That's number one. And number two. So I'm a loyal dog. You're like, I grew up, hey, if you go on the stand, you lie for your man and you fry for your man.
Yeah.
If that's
That
your
makes
man.
sense.
Yeah. That's who you chose to hang out with.
Cax.
Ride with him
I don't know how
today.
you pronounce your name.
So there's some guys in the internet space that early on, I was like maybe one of the first major guests to go on Fresh and Fit.
Yes, Fresh and Fit. Yeah.
And from a data standpoint, when I went on there, they had the highest live viewers they had ever had.
Yes.
Right? And I wasn't trying to be like a YouTuber. I wasn't working at it. I wasn't thinking about it strategically. I was just doing it and getting good feedback from audience. And so they had
Got you. Thank you, Laverian
Fresh
Key.
had DM me like, hey man, we got
Cool
this
name.
show. Like, I'd love you to come out to Miami. And I actually didn't even see the DM for months. And then I was looking for this. I was flying into a particular country and I knew a girl there and I'm trying to find her DM. You heard me? I'm like, where is this?
Yeah.
And so I'm going through my message requests. And then I see his.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey man, come out to Miami, whoop-de-whoop. And one thing I will always be, I see you working hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to support you.
Absolutely.
I've always been that.
Yeah.
I will put you on. I see his DM, I hit him back like, hey bro, like, sorry to get back to you a couple months later, man. This is in my message request. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to come through. Now, here's the important thing to understand. When they, and I don't want to put any of their business out, but just my experience, things may or may not have changed. When I move around, I'm usually moving around with my assistant.
Yeah.
Right? So one of them, maybe two of them. So he says, hey man, we'll fly you out to Miami to be on our show. And you know, the show's about this, X, Y, and Z. Now it wasn't Fresh and Fit then. It was just like two guys who have a show and like very small channel. Maybe I think when I went there were like 13,000 subscribers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
14,000. Right.
Yeah.
It shows you what hard work and focus will do. Shout out to them.
You're very smart.
Because they didn't arrive on accident.
Of
They
course.
arrived.
So this is where I was talking about, where it's like I said, like this dude has a bunch of good qualities, but then he's also like kind of manosphere-ish. And the fact that he can like say that Kevin Samuels is giving good advice, the fact that he's like, yeah, like that he doesn't, because like I couldn't possibly ever shout out Fresh and Fit without like attaching what I consider to be the negatives and the harmful things that they do, right? But it's like, but if you're in that sphere, then it makes sense. I think he's learned the YouTube grinding game really, really heavily, which is why I think he's had the run-ins with other like people like Destiny.
Because they're lab rats. They stay in that lab cooking up.
Yeah, consistent.
That's how they did it. You heard me? Like, and I always commend them and let my subscribers know, like, I'm not at their level because I want to go to Monaco and holla at, you heard me?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I'm not at their level because I got 5 bad hoes in Poland right now.
Absolutely.
I'm not at their level because I love trying to learn Amharic in Addis Ababa from this turbo thick Ethiopian shorty. You heard me?
Yeah, no, facts. Absolutely.
They're there because they worked for that.
Yes.
Anyways, so they said, hey, we'll fly you out. We'll pay for your flight. We'll pay for your hotel, right?
Yeah.
Which sounds reasonable. We're not going to compensate you for your time.
Yeah.
Pay you your flight and your hotel. We're just getting started.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Now, mind you, my time's expensive and my time is usually compensated.
Yeah, of course.
Not as a YouTuber, just as a business guy.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go give a
Passport
lecture
boy
at
is.
Roosevelt University. They gonna cut me a
Of
check.
course.
So, anyways, and I travel my assistant.
Yeah.
So I'm incurring expenses, which means that, okay, you pay for my flight and my hotel. Why my assistant? I didn't say, hey, pay for my assistant. I'm coming here to love on you.
Yes, absolutely.
I pay for my assistant's hotel, my assistant's flight. We go out there.
Yeah.
And we do the work. I say that to say I did that out of pure love. They were not famous at all.
Yeah.
I did that out of pure love. Now, as I said, I'm a loyal dog. You know, if we do anything together, you heard me? I'm going to keep it solid with you.
Yeah.
I ain't going to betray you. I ain't going to talk greasy on you. A million times people are like, hey, Fresh and Fit did this. What do you think? Do a reaction video.
Yeah.
You ain't never in life seen me do that.
That's true.
No matter how.
Okay, I can understand this. I can understand this now. That actually makes sense. Gross. I think I'm the same way in some ways. I am who I am. I have my integrity, and like I live by it. I have friends. I have a friend in particular. Friend used to lie a lot, and I never called that person out on it. Did some other shady things, and I never called them out on it because I am incredibly loyal to that person. Now, I would never support those specific acts or the lies or any of that kind of stuff. but I've never publicly spoken negatively about any of those things. Whereas if I didn't know them, I'd be all over it. So I think in the same sense, if that's his creed of I've worked with these people before, they've shown me love before, so I'm not going to ever disparage them, that's why he wouldn't call out these things. Now, it could also be that he also is a manospherist, and so he kind of agrees with some of the nonsense that they're talking about, but it also could just be that loyalty. And that loyalty makes all the sense in the world to me because that's how I function. So now I understand why he wouldn't do those things. I don't know that he ever collabed with Kevin Samuels. I don't know that ever happened. You know, I don't understand why this happens. When people follow, thank you for the follow, the Trib one, it comes out of these speakers and not out of like my normal default speakers. And I don't know how that's even possible. Like, what would make it go through that speaker and not through here? Maybe it's in the alert box properties. Nope, it doesn't say it. It's coming from Streamlabs, OBS. Maybe I don't know. I'll figure that out. These are Rocket 8, Rocket 8s, I believe. Just studio monitors.
How many controversies they had you've never in life seen me do a reaction video or throw them under the bus?
Yes, that's true.
I'm not going to say I condone something I don't condone, but I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Anyways, I watch Fatademics, right?
Yeah.
and Livingston Allen, calling by his
It's not a beef. Fatademics. What?
government. Livingston Allen, he goes on their show. He's using their studio. He's soaking up their clout because they popping. He ain't popping. They're popping.
Well, like, he's popping.
I'm going to tell you what I mean by that.
Hip hop, yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. You're popping when you are the event. You are the attraction.
Yeah.
He is a commentator of the event, of the attraction, of the person. So he tries to become a celebrity based on talking about celebrities. But he's not the center of attraction. And here's a good litmus test.
Yeah.
If you're a rapper, I'm having a concert. Come through.
Yeah.
I'm about to display a talent.
Yes.
What event could he throw that people are going to show up to? Hey, I'm going to talk about a rapper. Come through.
Podcasting? Are we podcasting?
You know yeah. Exactly. So it's like, bruh. Anyway, so he's trying to get on this fresh and fit wave, and we know that he must be getting some benefit because he keeps showing up.
Yeah.
Keeps showing up consistently. Then he does an interview with Tate, and for some reason, even though Fresh is not present, he just keeps throwing Fresh under the bus.
Yeah.
Disrespecting him while he's not there. And one of the things I was raised to hate is backbiting and gossip.
Yes.
Backbiting, that's religious right there. The Muslims, it's in their book. It says don't backbite. Especially not your friends.
Wait, so he was talking about Fresh and Miranda situation, right, with Tate?
Yeah, all kind of things, just disrespectful. And I was like, you know what? I don't like homie. I don't like homie. And I don't like how he getting that dude. We're going to teach a lesson. And we're going to establish moral law. And one of the things that people around the world need, and African Americans in particular, not to say either of them are,
of course,
but we need a new secular morality for religion has failed in most cases. And secondly, technology has outstripped man's ability to be moral, which is to say with new technology, we adjust morality.
Absolutely.
It would be barbaric to have an abortion if the way you aborted the kid was to let the kid carry full term and then you just choked it out.
Yeah.
Or threw it in the ocean. That would be like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah, of course.
But when we can apply technology, it seems more sterile and more okay.
Yeah.
And we have many things where technology make things seem okay that are not okay. Like, for example, now they say using science, they can have males get pregnant.
That's nuts.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
using
not true.
science, we could, in fact, turn a male to appear like a female.
Yes, sir.
Which is immoral.
Yeah, that's wild.
So we have to establish moral law. And relations among men need to be respectful, especially among friends. And so I said, let me speak on this. Let's establish some moral law. And, you know, Fresh is a kind gentleman. He ain't going to talk about it. The supervillain going to take it up.
Yeah.
You dig? And I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
And so that's that. Now, here's the funny thing you'll notice about DJ Academics. When I said what I said, he replies he gives his little 20, 30-minute rant talking about the saint and the sinner. Nobody was messing with it. In his own comments, they're like, bruh, you better keep quiet for you get flamed again. You better keep quiet. So he said it's 30 minutes. Then I came back and ethered him again.
Yeah.
After that, then this what he came and said. He said, oh, I can't be talking about the saint and the sinner unless he showed me $5 million in the bank account. I can't be talking about these broke N-words. Oh, like before you wanted to tangle with the saint and the sinner.
Yeah.
But once you got that work, you realize that's good work. You ain't want to tangle no more. And then you start hiding behind excuses and smoke screens. But let's play your game.
Yeah.
$5 million ain't nothing, homie. Like, check my background. I've been traveling around the world for a decade, boy.
Yo, so I seen like an article, I forgot what it was, right? Where they said that your net worth is $50 million. Now, I'm not no pocket watcher.
Sure.
I'm not, you feel me? I'm going to be more coy with my question. But how rich is the saint and the sinner, man? Because you got some money to you.
I'll just say this. A lot of people, when they say that their net worth is fill in the blank, they might be including a number of asset classes, things that they haven't turned into cash, or shares in their own company, of which the value might vary or not even be there.
Yeah, of course.
When I talk about money, I'm talking about actual money.
Cash.
And I also have assets. And I'll just say this. And I try to create like global standards in civilization, the GSIC, GSIC, global standards in civilization. Some things are just impolite. It's not quite polite for me to ask you how much money you have or how much money you make. A lot of black folks do that, but it is not quite polite. But I'll say this. I have a number of banks around the world. And the last banker I went to meet, me and my partner, we flew private over to this particular country. Banker comes and meets us at the airport. And then once we, got the first deal done, they said, we don't recommend, or excuse me, before we got the first deal done, they said, we don't recommend you put this amount of money in this bank because we only insure up to this much. I can introduce you to 3 other bankers that can insure the rest. So that if anything happens, the government can, secure this money.
Offshore bank accounts.
I'm just saying that the banker had to introduce me to other bankers to make sure that we Gucci, and that was not the only country.
I don't know, bro. I mean, listen. I'm not a person that just I most of the time believe people are telling the truth unless I have like a reason to believe that they're lying. And I don't really have a reason to believe he's lying. I think he's probably telling the truth about this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, he didn't want to answer that question directly. So the answer was long. Because what he was basically saying is, I have a lot of money, but I'm not going to give you a factual number. That's what he was doing. Over 250,000? Do you think that's the only thing that bank in that other country would insure? Maybe. You might be right. It's not impressive at all unless you don't know how banking works. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. I could be complete. I don't know. I don't have this kind of money. I would have no idea. Maximum insured money Swiss bank account. It's only 100,000. 250,000. Hmm. Yep. I guess it's 250,000. I think 250 might be the most. Highest. Let's see. Per ownership category. And per ownership. Okay. So, I mean, I guess if you have like at this point, so all we know is it's over 250,000, and it required multiple other banks. I guess in a way, then this means that it has to be 750,000, right? Because if he's saying, "Hey, I'm depositing 250,000, that's the maximum he can do," and this guy's saying, "I can link you to 3 other bankers," you wouldn't need 3 other bankers if the rest is only 250,000. So then that means that it has to be at least 3 more bankers. So that means it's 750,000. Say it's 760. Then he would need the 250 there, and then 250 in the remaining 2, which would put him at 750, and then 10,000 in the remaining guy, 760, right? So it sounds like, yeah. So wait, is a joint savings FDIC for 500? Nope. So let's assume it's just 750,000 cash, which 750,000 cash is a lot.
Try to operate in.
God damn. God damn.
But the thing is, I always want people to know that life's not about money.
Yeah.
And most of the people watching will not become millionaires. And here's the most important part: they don't want to be millionaires. They might talk about money, but they don't want to be millionaires. They don't even know what that means. But we can all be happy.
Yeah.
And that's the true measure, is to live the correct life and find out how you can be consistently happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. So that's what I'm trying to focus people on. But with regards to DJ Fatademics Livingston, with regards to the young boy talking about, like, show me $5 million, that make me start wondering what he got. Like, oh, that's the test?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering what you got now. But here's the thing, man. You probably heard this. They used to say, you ain't never too live to die. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, you could talk about all that, but you ain't never too live to die.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Watch what you're saying to people.
Yeah, of course.
In general.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with what's going on? Bruh.
Here, bro, question, right? So now,
but they don't
outside of like the thing.
Come on,
Fresh,
bro.
Yeah.
Like, what's the foundational, I guess, difference between you and Act? Because, yo, I feel like, man, listen, man, like, y'all are both rich, very influential. I feel like y'all coming together and having, you know, some type of, like, conversation.
No, I'm cool. If
I
I saw Act, I'll probably laugh at him and shake his hand and give him a hug.
Yeah.
I'll look at him, laugh at him, shake his hand, give him a hug, and then tell him to quit wearing sweatpants.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you wearing sweatpants, you need to be a super thick bitch. You heard me? Like, I don't need grown-ass niggas wearing sweatpants. You heard me?
Yeah.
Pay attention to what I'm telling you.
I know, come on, man.
I see you, bro.
What it is? No, it's a sweat short. So
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Come on now.
But no, some real talk. There's no beef there. I just don't respect the phoniness. I don't respect the phoniness of, like, you act like you want smoke and then you're like, oh, well, actually. It's like, bro, people see you lying. You're being a bad example.
Yeah.
Now, here's the difference. You said, what's the difference?
People seeing you lying is being a bad example, but that was Kevin Samuel. But we're past it. Clout Shark.
When Ack passes away, and I'm not trying to harken this, but when he passes away, his tombstone might say podcaster.
Yeah.
Commentator.
Yeah.
I talked about other people and what they did.
Hip hop guru.
Could be. Yeah. It was very veiled.
When my tombstone goes, it's gonna say a whole best-selling author, lecturer.
Ooh, that's heavy.
Poet.
That's heavy.
Inventor. Yes, I've invented technology.
That's heavy. Yeah.
Right. It'll say a lot more than that, and he'll disappear into the dustbins of history. When I go, my message is going to live on, and people who are living it out. I have a whole philosophy. You go to my website, click About, you're going to find a whole guide on how to live well.
Yeah.
There's no philosophy or thinking behind what he's doing. He's trying to make money by entertaining you.
You got to watch the whole thing. He's kind of gone through it.
Here's a meaningful example. I have a video called, and this is going to get no views. It has gotten no views, and I made it knowing it was going to get no views.
Yeah.
The lessons from Mr. Rogers. You know Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Yes.
Y'all know Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? Don't nobody want to watch a damn video called The Lessons from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Yeah.
But here's one of the key things he used to teach you.
Yeah.
He talked to the children as a man. And he says, you're growing up just the right way. you are going to grow into a man. You are going to grow into a girl. You're growing up just the right way.
Yes.
Which is to let you know that everything that you are is beautiful and you're going to bloom into exactly what you're supposed to be. That gives children self-esteem and meaning.
Yes.
Which is antithetical to what they're getting now, which is they don't know what they're supposed to grow up into.
Yeah.
And adults who are supposed to give them certainty and confidence and guidance, we're giving them our own confusion.
Absolutely.
So we make a video, Lessons from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That's called content, by the way.
Of course.
What he does is commentary. He's commentary.
Yeah.
So that's a radical difference. Like I'm doing this. This is a labor of love.
Yeah.
I've only lost money doing YouTube for a fact.
Yeah.
I've only lost money. I've only lost deals, and I've lost a lot of beautiful women. Doing YouTube.
Be hard.
Yeah, man.
Now let's transition to Destiny, which that was the most unsuspected thing.
Yeah.
Now, where did the issue with Destiny come from? Because I was kind of like surprised. Like I'm like scrolling through like my feed,
right?
And I see that you're live and shit.
Yeah.
I click on it and I see Destiny. I'm like, well, what's going on here, man? Like, how did that happen?
This is a very fascinating experience that we all need to understand. There's so many layers to this one.
Man, break it all down. We got time.
And this is a beautiful thing. So number one, similar. I don't know if you had heard of them before, but I never heard of them.
Yeah.
And that's not saying much because I've not heard of a lot of things. I
interviewed him. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not heard of a lot of things. That's no disrespect to him. But I was getting DMs like, hey, this gamer is watching one of your clips at length and he's criticizing you.
Oof. Yeah. Good point, Zovia.
I was just kind of caught off guard. He's a gamer. He makes content about video games. Like, why am I on his stream?
Yeah.
So I click on it, and he has this Canadian woman who is a bit mentally unwell. She's
Laugh.
I don't want to say her name because her whole goal in life is to get attention.
Gotcha.
That's her whole goal in life. So we will give her none.
Hey,
we will give her none.
I'm fine with that too. Yeah,
you
man.
did?
Yeah.
So it's a nameless Canadian woman. She's a lonely mother. I like to call them lonely mothers. She's a lonely mother.
Facts, but lonely mother.
Yeah, she's a lonely mother. So she went on my
Master
stream
Duck.
a while
Come
back
on,
and got
bro.
flamed.
Wow.
I'm talking about like an epic internet flame where I had to take it down after flame.
Mother.
Yeah, she's a lonely mother. So she went on my stream a while back and got flamed.
Wow.
I'm talking about like an epic internet flame where I had to take it down after because I didn't want to get flagged.
Wow.
But so many people enjoyed the flaming that they downloaded the joint and shared it 1 million times.
God
right?
damn.
Everybody else had it on their channel. So it was a famous flaming of this woman, right? It's where she came into existence. It's her origin story.
Oh, wow.
I got flamed by the saint in the sinner, right?
Yeah.
So she was actually on his channel, and her only reference point for who am I is, I got flamed by the saint in the sinner.
Yeah.
Here's the video. So they're watching a lengthy clip of me flaming this woman with logic, you know, not insulting her, with logic. And they're talking about black issues, black male-female relationships, black male underperformance, inadequacy, sensitive issues. And all the while, you know, every now and then he'll chime in and insult black people or insult me specifically.
Yeah.
He'll chime, but most of the time he's just playing video games while she's pouring her heart out about something she's serious about. And other little black, tap dancers and shufflers and, you know, they'll come in on the stream and they'll continue engaging her, talking about black issues.
Yeah.
Then I say something that he didn't like because I call him Mr. Stinky Cock.
Yeah.
It says something he didn't like. He was like, I'm going to go DEFCON 4 on black people. I'm going to start calling out black people's homophobia. And
God damn.
I'm like, wait, hold on. Wait. I am not black people.
Yeah.
I am one man. One of the definitions of racism is the discrimination of a group of people, typically when you associate low characteristics to that group. So it's like he wasn't even listening to me. He just looked at me and said, oh, it's black people.
Yeah.
He's a racist, just flat out. He's a racist. Because it doesn't make any sense logically to carry from an individual black person said something, you identified with a misnomer, homophobia. You should have said, I'm going to go DEFCON 4 on the saint.
I mean, I think that is kind of the point, though, because he's been essentializing black people for a while, even with the I Show Speed situation, where he's like, oh, it's just black streamers, the new wave. whatever, right? New legion of black streamers, right? Or it's just like, yeah, you know, those communities are the most racist communities I've ever been in. So he's always trying his best to like group us. It's never as individuals, bro. It's crazy.
Or
yeah,
I
he
debate
actually
him
said
on this homophobic
it's too much
thing I'm observing.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. I was like, oh, the boy's a racist. He's a closeted racist, of which there are many, especially the left. The left is exceptionally racist, but it's all low key.
Democrats, yeah.
The right is also very racist, but they ain't trying to hide it 9 out of 9. So anyway, so he says, you know, this stuff that was racist, and I was like, oh, okay, for sure. Like, all right, you know, we gonna put him in the crosshairs. Then we gonna deal with it. And a lot of folks were saying, oh, he's a great debater. He's the best debater. This guy is the debating king.
Yes, right. He has like annihilated a bunch of other creators, right? Yeah. Now,
you're right.
Now y'all two are a great match.
It would seem if you're an internet personality, but if you ask yourself, okay, beyond the internet, what has he done? Like beyond like talking on the microphone, what has he done in life? Like what has his experiences been that put him to the test?
Well, a kid, right?
What's that? Oh, he has a child?
Yeah, right? I mean...
Look. I got a homie of mine I'm going to go kick it with after this. You heard me? He's like, these my white kids, these my black kids, these my Latino kids. He got about 5 baby mamas. You heard me? So if a kid is the test, he qualified.
Yeah.
Now, so you got this guy who is unlettered, went to a third-tier university.
I got to remember that name.
Dropped out on a music degree, which is one of the easier degrees to get. He claimed he dropped out because he was working at a restaurant. It was too much. And he spent his whole life playing video games and then yelling at people on the internet. Meanwhile, you know, you got a young black kid who teaches himself technology, invents a technology, flies around the world, does business with the Chinese Communist Party, is, you know, negotiating with the Korean government as well as the Puerto Rican government, gets deals, gets grants from their government. The negotiation skills and the business savvy and the ability to debate with high-level minds. I mean, you can see a video where the governor of Virginia is trying to get me to open an office there so they get that tax money, right?
Oh, wow.
But the point is like, no, you don't have the experience to operate at this level. And further, what's a debate? A debate is where you establish...
Man, I love it. You internet Twitch niggas, y'all always do it for me. It's crazy as hell to me. What do you mean inventing technology is the craziest line? You don't think that's a thing? You don't think people invent technology all the time? So then why is that such a crazy line? But an individual can. They do. What?
A point, an intellectual point.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to defend it or you have to advance your points.
Yes.
That's what a debate is.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Now, so I say, okay, you know, he wants to smoke. Fantastic.
It's okay.
Before I could even do my response video to the initial one, he does another live stream going through my video for like in excess of an hour.
Now, like, what did he say though? Like during like those reactions that had you thinking, yo, you is disrespecting the big homie.
It's crazy for how far the conversation has gone this far now. This part seems really petty.
Oh, wow. Homophobic. This guy's sexist. Just basically all
of
the liberal talking points.
Yeah, they'll do it.
And he, as an individual, is not important. Yeah. But it's important to provide people with a toolkit for A, understanding his perspective, and B, combating it, and C, you know, you got people on the right or on the center, these are reasonable, people on the right, the center, the left, who might be reasonable, and they're gonna go with whatever makes sense, the truth. Then you have ideologues on both sides. They're rightists or they're leftists, they're not gonna budge. Most of his
Blockwoman, you know, he did actually go and specifically explain what the technology was that he invented that he ended up selling to the government of South Korea, right? Or to some South Korean telecommunications company, right? But the shorthand way of describing the specific technology, which I can explain to you now because he explained it already in this interview, which is BCI invented technology. This is leftist retardation Twitch idiocy at its absolute finest. I did a conversation a while ago where we were trying to talk about Bill Cosby, and I was trying to talk about his pound cake speech, which I think was actually a pretty well spoken speech. which I actually really agreed with. And in that conversation, we got caught up on niggas talking about but why did he say the word they there? They open the door instead of we open the door. And it's like, what? Can we get to the meat of what they're talking about? Right now, we are getting hung up, not we. You guys are getting hung up on the idea of him saying I invented technology as opposed to him not describing the technology that he invented. Come on, man. Come on. You don't have to be here for it. There's nothing invalid about the phrase I invented technology. Because you're unaware of the specific technology he invented a type. Come on, bro.
He's leftist because he's bisexual, right?
Yeah.
So they're staunch leftists.
Yes, definitely bisexual, I think. Yeah.
And then there's people in the middle who are neutral, and they're just trying to figure things out.
The truth, yeah.
General young people. So I was like, okay, this will be useful. He'll be a foil for me explaining things.
Yeah.
He does a second video before I can even do my first one. Then I start with my first one, and it's not a debate. It's a video going through his points and his claims. And the title of the video was exposing his racism and the misnomer of homophobia.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, if you've been watching my content for a long time,
Yes.
I don't have anything about racism. I almost never talk about racism.
Yeah, no.
And when I do events and when I talk about who I'm working for,
I'm going to let you have the
for all
block,
of
man.
humankind.
It's all yours, buddy.
No, absolutely.
There's no racism in what I do.
Yes.
I don't like things that discriminate or separate peoples.
Absolutely.
I've been around the world. I've observed firsthand. We are pretty much all the same.
Yes, absolutely.
You find a guy in Iraq, you find a guy in Antarctica. They both want to get laid. You know, they got the same person, the same priorities. Yeah.
All one for the pussy.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so I start my live session, and then eventually he hits the link to join on. He came in when I was going through his background because the first thing we have to dispense with, and one thing I always teach is hierarchy. Hierarchy is important. Confucius talks about hierarchy. He talks about the basic relationships, ruler and subject, husband and wife, older sibling and younger sibling. These things bring order and they define culture. Hierarchy is important. You need to know who you should respect.
Yeah.
So I said, first off, I can tell that people are being fanatical and just even suggest that he can debate because you're talking about a guy who spent his life playing video games, has no college degrees, and no credibility outside of the internet.
Yeah.
Why would you compare that to? So I just want to go through that first.
Of course.
So he hops on the stream while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about my education for? Yeah, I was like, I'm talking about your credentials. If you were to go to a formal debate, they actually do introduce you based on your credentials.
That's true.
Anyways, long story short, here's the issue.
Marion Croak, okay.
So we go
She invented
through,
the technology, but that's really cringe to
the
say, though.
debate topic. So first we talk a little bit about, first we actually talk about his background. And here's where it got
spicy.
Here's where he got really mad. And you'll see if I actually did a reaction video. I think I might have taken that one down as well. And a lot of his fanatics, they'll say, oh, you took this down because you don't want the truth. I'm like, no, I took it down because you guys are flagging my video. I took this down because y'all are trying to cancel me. People who hate the truth must cancel you.
Mass report, yeah.
Because if you were saying things that were like completely crazy, a normal person would watch it like, this guy's a nut, cut it off. But there is a special ingredient called truth, which you don't want to get out. So
No, that's not it. It's that we live in the disinformation age where a lot of people are incredibly susceptible to like disinformation. And this is one of those situations where it's like, yeah, you can probably get away with it. Just by saying whatever nonsense you're saying, people will believe it. And at that point, yeah, like people, you can be screwed. I don't know that it's necessarily... yeah, the other way. I don't know, bro. There is a reason. I'm not sure about that.
you are trying to cancel and censor.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so we get to one point and he says to me, he says the following. What is, because I told him he was unqualified to give advice.
Yes, I heard that.
He says, what is one thing that my experience precludes me from giving advice on? What is one thing my experience precludes me, stops me from giving advice on? I said, oh, well, it's curious you should ask.
The crypto.
So I click play.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're going to play a YouTube video? I was like, calm down, my boy. This is you.
Yes.
This is called a primary source.
Yes.
When people do research, they want to use primary sources. Not only will we speak of something you've done, we will show it.
Absolutely.
So they know we're not lying. And it specifically goes on to say, he says, oh man, crypto and NFTs, that's a scam. Anyone, his words, anyone selling NFTs is just trying to scam you. Then he goes on further to say something ironic. He says, we should create something wherein like we punish people because they'll say something is bad or dumb and then they'll do it. It's hypocrisy. His words.
Yeah.
Then I say, okay, there's that first clip of you. Here's another clip of you. Then I click the clip and he's like, oh yeah, you know, there's this thing where you can sell NFTs and the creator gets 10% of all of the sales. He gets 10% of the proceeds. So yeah, you guys should buy it. Like, you know, I have some classic Twitch streams that you're going to want. So
Yeah.
So what's he doing? He's selling NFTs. Why? To make money. There are a couple personality types that I don't trust and I don't want to take advice from.
Yeah.
One is the people who need money. You heard me? Like everything. That's why
We're all broke though.
Yeah, you can't trust it. You can't trust it.
Yeah.
And that's
I don't know about that. I think that's kind of silly. I don't think having money makes people have more integrity any more than being broke makes people have less integrity. I think that's crazy. Like we obviously know how many people in Wall Street have no integrity, like them Enron niggas, right? And then we also know people who are flat broke who have no integrity and have no moral code, and would like, you know what I'm saying, like the poor white people in Appalachia. You see what I did there? So like ultimately, like the idea that financial status creates or impedes on integrity is stupid. I just don't think that makes sense. I don't like that.
That's why I believe politicians should come in for service. When you've been successful in life, and you say, my mission now is not to go make money, it's to give back.
Yeah, it's power.
And that's why I tell people at my conferences, I say, you know what? When I was a young man, my number one goal, more important than love, more important than anything, was to make $1 million. I want to make millions. For people at my conferences, I say, you know what? When I was a young man, my number one goal, more important than love, more important than anything, was to make $1 million. I want to make millions. My goal now is to make millionaires.
Damn, man, that's real. That's deep, man.
My goal now is to make millionaires.
Man, that's
I'm
deep.
on this other level now. I'm trying to see you win. And that's how my OGs was. His older brother put me in the game. He was my basketball coach. All he wanted to do is see me win.
Oh, man, shut up.
My partner Ryan. And then I had this one super thick, shaped like a ocho, my boy. Went to a private school. I ain't gonna name it. I don't want nobody to know who she is. Bad.
Man.
Bad. I was 16.
Black or Hispanic or what?
She was mixed.
Oh,
you heard
man.
me? So she was actually half German, half black.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
Pure flame. Anyways, I'm trying to max her out. You heard me? His older brother's like, bro, I got you, man. I'm going to drive you over there. And I'm like, yeah, but she had her mom's house and whoop-de-whoop. He was like, bro, I'm going to drive you over there. You know, text her, man, sneak in the side, beat that down. I'm going to be out here. I'm going to just wait. However long you take, I'm going to be right here.
Man, that's a real homie right there.
That's a real nigga right there.
Like that. You want to see your people win.
Absolutely.
You don't get jealous of them. If they winning more than you, we coming up together. Huh?
Nah, it's a fact.
I'm here with my mans I grew up with.
Yeah, man, shout out to Ryan, man.
I ain't bring no strangers in here.
No,
I'm with my mans. I was a kid with this man. Anyways, where were we?
Destiny.
I was gonna say that was a complete digression
his money grab.
nonsense.
First video. NFTs
What
are
did that have
a
to do with
scam.
anything?
Anyone selling them is a scammer.
Yeah.
We should hold people accountable for being hypocrites. Second video. Hey, buy my NFTs. I have NFTs. I'm selling NFTs. NFT for you. NFT for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, brethren,
Yeah.
use a cold liar and a hypocrite. Explain to me how you rectify saying it's a scam and then trying to sell it. Explain that. Then what does he do?
Yeah.
It's called a red herring.
Okay.
He starts distracting. Well, why don't you tell me what an NFT is? What?
Oh, I seen that,
That
though.
has nothing to do with anything.
And then the fans came and started trolling, asking what an NFT is.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Now, here's the funny thing. It's very clever.
Ooh, the trip one. I'm gonna go in on that.
People have been doing it for thousands of years. We have a name for it.
Yeah.
It's a logical fallacy called a red herring.
Yeah.
Which is to distract from the actual topic because you can't win on the current topic.
Yeah.
Right? In a debate, you have a point or a topic. He couldn't win because we had to address the truth, and the truth was hideous. So he just, what's an NFT? But here's the irony.
Yeah.
Here's the irony. I had just finished a conference where what did I do? I taught people what an NFT is.
Yeah.
how people get scammed on NFTs. Oh, and how you can create NFTs.
Yeah.
What's the business model behind NFTs?
Yeah.
And I did this with one of my engineers who's worked in my businesses. I actually, you can go to marquettism.com, you heard me, and buy an episode where you can learn to create NFTs from scratch.
Yeah.
So he's asking a guy who's an inventor of technology and reasonably sophisticated, more than him and more than his viewers.
Yeah.
What's an NFT? One, it's a ludicrous question. It's ludicrous to ask me. It's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
So, in all fairness, what he's saying right now is true. The thing was, when I came into that video, this was the part that I got to, where Destiny refused to answer this question. And it's like, to ask that question in recrimination does not actually absolve you of like having to answer his question. It's fail. But what he doesn't say is that like all throughout the thing up to that point, he was literally just trying to railroad the conversation. He would like make a point, not let Destiny respond to it, ask him a question, not let him get a full answer, and he would kept doing that and jumping from topic to topic. Really, where they weren't actual questions, they were really just insults in interrogative form. So he'd just be basically saying like, "Yo, so you're a dropout, right? Like you went to this is a garbage school, right?" And like Destiny wants to explain, well, it's not entirely a garbage school, depending on what your degree is going to be. If you're going to be doing something like music, it really doesn't. And he's like, no, it's a garbage school, right? And so because of the fact that he had done that for so long, when it got to this point, is I guess where Destiny decided, fine, I'm going to be bad faith too. I think one of my biggest issues was, because I hadn't seen all of that context. All I just knew was like Destiny had been bad faith. One of my issues was when I called it bad faith, I'd said to everyone, I said to everyone, hey, Destiny is being bad faith here. And niggas were just like, no, he's not being bad faith. He's not. He just he just doesn't want to answer I don't know, whatever they were using to try to justify. And it was like, wait a minute, no, you can't do that. Like if you're saying that if he refuses to answer the question, then that means that he's being bad faith. Now, you can say Destiny's being bad faith because this guy was being bad faith previously, and I can hear that. But you can't just say this isn't bad faith, because it is bad faith. And that's exactly what happened. I don't know. I think him asking Destiny, what in it, like about that part right there. I don't know if that part but yeah, I'd say in a bunch of the previous conversation, he was just literally trying to railroad the conversation and insult the guy. He wasn't really trying to have a good conversation.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course.
It's a slap in the face. That's like me asking DJ Academics, who's Drake? He's a hip hop commentator. He would know. If anybody knows, it's him.
Yeah.
So he tries to distract. So I'm not going to play petty and answer the question. So what does he do the whole time? As soon as I said, no, that's a red herring. You're trying to distract. You tell us, because you asked me, what precludes me from giving advice to other people based on my experience? Well, your experience is you said NFTs are a scam. Then your second experience and your advice is go buy my NFT. That precludes you because you're clearly a money hustler.
Yeah.
You're a dirtbag.
Oh,
what does he start doing? This man turned into Beethoven. He started playing piano. He didn't went Stevie Wonder. He playing piano. I'm like, what's going on with little buddy over here?
Yeah.
Tripping. He was mad and stressed. He started playing piano and some more stuff, man.
Yeah.
And then everything broke down from there. But here's the funny thing. The fanatics on his side, they come back, they're like, he won the debate. What debate?
Yeah.
The first
the
point
beginning of it, you didn't even
I
answer.
answered his question. I said, hey, defend your actions.
Yeah.
And he started playing.
No, the first point that you went to was like talking about his background, and you were asking him about the school that he went to and about him having a kid and all those kinds of things. That's really where it started. And you were being really bad faith in the way that you were approaching that conversation. Not that Destiny's not a scumbag. Not that Destiny doesn't run from conversations, like from fair conversations, as he's done to me every freaking time. Not that Destiny is like a good faith person, and because he was absolutely bad faith in the way that he responded there. But I can see it breaking down and him finally saying, I'm just going to get on your level. Yeah.
Piano. He thought he was John Legend. We're just ordinary people. It's like, bro, didn't turn into Alicia Keys.
What do you mean the ass? He didn't need that question wasn't relevant to the conversation they were having. He could have just did it.
Yeah.
And so
Could
what
just
we
ask the question, what are you
realized
talking
there
about?
is that, you know, he's been in the internet game a long time. I've been in the real world. I'm new to the internet game.
Yeah.
So I noticed what he does is he'll put subscriber only mode when he goes live.
Yeah.
So no one can disagree with the nonsense. When I went live, anybody could join in.
Yeah.
And that's how his people were able to join in. And,
Yeah.
and what do I do
Infiltrate.
as a infiltrate precisely? And what do I do as a reasonable man? I let them come on and speak their piece.
Yeah.
But they're gaming nerds and fanatics, and they really just want to defend, you know, this fella because they probably engage in the same sick behaviors.
Yeah.
But he basically got
slandering?
obliterated on that. Then I went
What?
to the
What
second
are you
point,
talking
which is homophobia.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, let's go on to another topic since you're embarrassed. Homophobia. A phobia is a medical diagnosis, which means fear of.
Yeah.
This is something that is defined in a book that has been established by scientists.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such diagnosis called homophobia
Mm-hmm.
because it actually doesn't exist. What you're actually trying to do as a leftist is you guys often bring in medicine to give legitimacy to your claims and accusations.
Yeah.
So you're trying to use this term to make
I
people
get- I
seem
like your take,
crazy
Menizel.
or mentally unwell because they disagree with you. It is not a phobia. I've never met anybody who was around people who engage in homosexuality and they were scared, like,
Yeah.
Nah, like, bro, I used to live in San Francisco in Pack Heights. You heard me?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, even on Halloween, we go out, you know, there's gay people all over, half of them half dressed anyways, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh my God, like, you know, no, there's no phobia.
Yeah.
It's called, I don't agree with your behavior.
Absolutely.
But you've created this term as a part of your discourse and propaganda.
He's hitting you in your
effort, and
destiny
you're trying to expose
feels,
it. So when you call
a
me
little bit.
homophobia, what you really meant to say is, I'm a homosexual and you're speaking against my behaviors and I'm mad. That's really what it was.
Oh man.
But he didn't want to talk about the linguistic aspect of it and the fact that they're creating words on a consistent basis. You almost don't understand what they're talking
Nope,
about.
not doing that.
I'm AFAB,
All right.
you're cisgender,
Look, y'all
this is
have
trans
at it.
that,
Yeah.
I'm transracial,
Destiny's
That was too slow.
a successful red herring on
we
his
don't
part.
know.
And which is like why, right? Like it was really like hard. A debate between you and him would be hard for somebody like me to really truly like follow along with, right? Because again, like I don't, bro, like the NFTs, the how to create it from the bro, I don't know.
Which is irrelevant though. That's the whole point.
You feel me? Yeah, bro. Like, I don't know nothing about that.
You know how I helped him out?
Oh man, it's so sad because he's doing the same thing right now. Where it's like, yo, you don't need to know that. It's not part of the conversation. Gosh,
his,
it's so
one of his
lesser
bub
minds.
buddies had got on after that, and his bub buddy has said, Marquette, like, why didn't you just answer what an NFT is? I said, number one, at the level at which I understand NFTs, if I
it's disrespect to even.
Right, it's disrespect to ask,
Yeah.
and I won't lower myself.
Yeah.
I'm already digging in the swamp, even talking to you people, but I won't lower myself.
Yeah.
But if I did foolishly lower myself
Yeah.
and explain,
Yeah.
everybody'd be lost.
Exactly.
Because it's technical.
Yeah,
and
facts.
this is not a technical audience.
No,
That's
absolutely.
my old
That's
camera.
number one.
Yeah.
But more importantly,
I do have a new
let's
camera though.
remove the concept of NFT.
Yeah.
Consider this. Let's say it was a cell phone.
Let's see what it look
Right?
like. Hold on.
You
I'm trying
do
to
a
add
stream
it.
and you say anyone who sells cell phones is a scammer. Then on your next stream you say, hey, I'm selling cell phones. Anybody want to buy a cell phone?
Yeah.
And I ask you, hey, how you say cell phones are a scam to sell and
Yeah.
now you're selling them?
Like that, like that right there has definitely been one
see
of
if I
the
can do
biggest
this.
black mark on like his career so far. Because people do bring that up a lot, right? Now, like, his reason is, but listen, man, like they offered a big bag. I needed the bag.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, right, right, and like, and right, and you know, and like he stated, listen, they offered a big bag, and if I already warned people about NFT scams, and then the next day I tell you guys to buy it, who fault, right? Like, and who fault is it really, right? So
That's crazy.
I guess that explanation somewhat makes sense a little bit, right? Saying,
No, it
listen,
doesn't.
man, if I got the big bag
I
for
don't
it,
think
I'm a
Destiny
broke
said that.
streamer,
I think
right?
he's making
And I
that up.
already
Is
told.
he though?
Well, at that time he was, right?
wow.
Right? Because I think like at that time Twitch was getting ready to like cancel him or like take him off the platform, right? So like he was, you know, like
He was scrounging for money.
yeah,
Scrounging for money.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right now, yo, let's actually redirect it, right? So Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Now I've been on live streams.
Okay.
Now I'm not sure
let me see.
if you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
But I've been called crazy, arguing with niggas going back and forth. Right? When I say this,
Okay.
that the blueprint of Andrew Tate talking about how the West is mad, how the women overseas, how to make money, the business talk, the wearing the suits, the right, like they're like uber masculine frame. I've always tell people this.
Okay.
Like
let me see.
It kind of seems as if Andrew Tate got that from Marquette. You feel me? Now, right when I tell people this, right? Bro,
I'm your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. They don't want to keep it real out here, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Flacco.
Come on, bro.
Before you, I never heard people like talk about like the West is going down. Yo, brother. Yo, listen, Peru, Brazil, listen, come over, right? And like the West going down, the entrepreneurship, the masculine frame. Now, how do you feel about that? Obviously, like it's all love, it's all respect to Andrew Tate, but credit needs to be given where credit is due.
Respect to
so,
Andrew
how do you
Tate.
feel about that comparison
Bro,
between you and Andrew?
This is why I can't, man. You respect all the people that I have no respect for. Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate. Like look, after so many connections, I cannot give you that credit. Is he a person that might be true about like some of the things that he's saying? Probably. I have no reason to not to think he's just a liar about everything. But nigga, I can't. What? How do I? What is going on? Let me see. You know why this is such a problem? So there's 4 point of connections. I have a converter. Then I have a cable that connects. Then there's an Elgato streaming capture device. The Elgato streaming capture device also has a cable connecting to USB. That USB is on a hub, which actually plugs into the slot. You see what I'm saying? So it's like USB hub, small HDMI cable from the hub to the Elgato device, then the Elgato device, then the cable connecting it to the converter, then the converter plugs into the camera. That's where all this problem is. Some of this can't be avoided. The hub can't be avoided. The Elgato thing can't be avoided. But I could get rid of the converter cable. That's what I just need, and then that just knocks out. So then it's only 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just 4 instead of 5. Yeah, it's a converter. What's a converter here? I could show you really quick. It's this. You see this? Here, I'm gonna unplug it. Don't follow me. It's this. Do you see this? So basically, this has the mini HDMI, and then the mini HDMI connects to this HDMI cable right here. And so then I have an HDMI cord, which plugs into this, right? Then this plugs directly into my camera. But then that cord connects to, I don't know if you guys can see it now, but it connects to an Elgato little capture device. And then there's an HDMI going into the hub, and then the hub goes into the computer. So it's a bunch, and it sucks. They sell that cable. I need to buy the replacement. Yep, that is the goal. Cable with proper fittings, money. All right. Okay. Freak, almost out of my headphones. I really wish I could get my nose clear. Okay, let's see. If it don't work this time, I can't get it. Wait. Am I been using the wrong camera this whole time? I might have been using the wrong camera. That might be why. Oh, how do you do it? What is it? Think line. Oh yeah, video capture device. It's freezing up on me. There we go. Now it'll do it. That's the actual camera right here. As you can see, that camera, quality-wise, is 1 billion times better. And I have this lighting right here. And yeah, that camera goes hard. It's like kind of stupid. But it has no battery life. Is the Elgato necessary? Yes. Yes. It did freeze. Let me see. I should be able to just do this right here. And then we do this. Nope. It just decided to just crap out on me. Come on, bro. I don't know. It's hating. It's a shame the way you mess around. I don't know. I'll figure it out next time. But I have to buy a dummy battery and that replacement cable, and then I'll be good to go. I think it's like $50. And then I'll be set. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off though, because it's garbage. All right, let's finish this video.
I have respect for Andrew Tate on a couple different fronts, and you're right. And that's why I always talk about hierarchy. And the part of hierarchy is respecting people who've come before you, whether it's heritage or people who rank higher than you, but also recognizing when you're of the same kind. Like we need to team up and collaborate when we're of the same type, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't have to knock anyone down if we're on the same vibe. So I don't think anyone today can say that I've ever spoken negatively about Andrew Tate. I've only spoken favorably in as much as like he's a successful kickboxer, which I respect highly.
Yeah.
He's appears to have been wildly successful in business, and he has the. As I tell people, you know, if you got money, it shows. If you got hoes, it shows. Right?
Make home, man, with 20 supercars.
It shows. Now I know there are certain situations where people have to keep like things a little bit low key, but it shows. And he's been very successful in that. And so we have a very similar message. And in as much as that's the case, some people will look at Tate and resonate with that, and some people will look at me and resonate with that. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm totally fine with that. Now, you're right. There are a lot of people who have hijacked identities. You know, they've been stealing the ism and giving out the counterfeit version. You dig what I'm saying? But it's all beautiful. It's all love. It's not an issue. And you know, if people track back through time, I think they'll be able to see, you know, the Saint and the Sinner went on Fresh and Fit, and then another person went on After. Or they'll see the Saint and the Sinner was saying this and doing this and dressing this way and flying around the world and taking you with them. And then another person started doing this. But let's talk about the genius of Andrew Tate. What can we learn from him? What we can learn is his distribution model is exceptional. And that's been his true, his diamond. However, we also have to learn from people's failings, whether it's Kevin Samuels or an Andrew Tate. And that's one thing that's beautiful to see people come in front of you is I get to sit back and look at Kevin Samuels like, okay, bro, like I would see people in your live stream or in your chat and they'd say, protect this man at all costs. But nobody did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They said it.
Yeah.
But nobody did it.
No, that's a fact.
So we actually got basic training coming up in February. You dig? We getting people together. No, we're training.
What does that mean? Nobody did it what? Bro, he got bodied. He got bodied going, like, having a sexual encounter with a Latin woman. Were they supposed to protect him from the from the thick Latina? What? Come on, man.
Training.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Okay, number two, look at Andrew Tate. He created a great distribution model. We should learn from this. But then he got deplatformed everywhere. He didn't realize that at some point you have to make the message more palatable for the mainstream.
Absolutely.
And then when you say things that are a bit more strong, you say that for your members or whatever else.
Patreon.
Right. And he didn't make that transition at the appropriate time. Like, for example, right now I'm just a speck on the radar at some level. if I were to get to that level, I would have already cleaned that message up. You'd have seen everything get erased from the internet. You know, I'd have been on there in a, you heard me, like dressed like a priest. Like,
man, come on, yeah.
You never hear me curse.
Yeah.
And the people who know what's up know what's up.
Oh, thank
But
you,
he didn't make that
Darko.
transition. I think a part of it is that people don't have the requisite experience or knowledge. At some level, he was doing something new. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
But even if you look in historical examples, you look at the Nazi Party with Hitler. One thing people don't know is when they were called the brown shirts, they used to go around like literally just beating the snot out of their political opponents.
Yeah.
And also people feared that he would do a violent takeover because everything they had done up to that point was violent and they were very anti-Semitic and they were unpleasant people. Then all of a sudden, you know, he comes out and they didn't clean everything up. He's disbanded this group of like political thugs that he has. They even hosted the Olympics.
Yeah, come on.
People forget about that.
Crazy.
Nazi Germany hosted the Olympics. All the countries showed up.
Yeah. Times Man of the Year.
And talk to me.
Come on.
They participated. They showed respect.
Yeah.
And Neville Chamberlain, leader in the UK, oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah, of course.
He knew how to clean up appropriately. Now, obviously, we all know that he was a deeply sick, wicked, evil person. We're in a similar situation wherein we have to clean up the message so that the mainstream doesn't deplatform us to where we can't get the truth out.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the pieces in the puzzle that Andrew Tate stumbled on.
Yeah.
Because truth be told, you know, his acolytes will follow him for a bit, but in this age, humankind is fickle. So they'll follow him on Rumble. Rumble's a terrible platform. I mean, I tried it so many times. It's just a terrible platform. I say that as a guy in technology.
No algorithm there.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Even the UI is not good.
Yeah.
But anyways, they'll follow him for a time, but eventually they're going to stick with where the
YouTube.
most of the content creators and consumers are, which is currently YouTube.
Yeah.
So he's going to eventually fade out.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to take those lessons and, you know, it's all love. So, and I appreciate you acknowledging me on that. And I also want to acknowledge people that I get game from. And I'd be happy to name any of those scholars.
Man. Yeah. Who? Well, so before that though, right? So let's talk about, bro. I just have so much, man, bro. I have you here for about an hour and 30 minutes, man.
Let's work.
I got just like more questions, right? But right, I'll try to keep it brief, and then we can do a part two, right? So speak about the culture of the manosphere currently, because I seen like you had critiques for I think Alpha Male Strategies, Steph is Cold,
Oh yeah,
Fit,
that's a classic.
yeah, bro, that was a big live stream, right? Now, outside of like, what's your critique about them or the overall class of the manosphere now? Because again, like you've graduated past the trenches of the manosphere, right? So fuck them other niggas. You feel me, right? Right? Again.
Hey, assassin or nothing in a real way. Let's go.
Yeah, right? Fuck them other niggas who are in the trenches.
Yeah.
Let's speak on where you're at now, which is like the mainstream manosphere. What's the current, like, what's your view on it? Because you have, like, just Pearly Things right now who is, you know, like, starting to strive.
I've heard that name, but I've not actually seen, it's a woman, right? White woman?
Yes.
It's a white woman?
And she has single-handedly ruined the career of our brand. First off, I love, listen.
Oh, did she?
I love just Pearly Thing.
Okay.
But, man, bro, Hafiz coming on that interview just.
Oh, she flamed him.
Well, like, she flamed him in, like, a real, like, subtle way, which is, like, he's just guns and holes, but he don't know, like, when you're dealing with a woman, you gotta be real delicate, right? Even if you do win, like, the debate, if you still come off as mean, right? So, right? So, there's Hafiz, there's Steph is Cold, there's the, oh my God, the first lawyer, no, like the, oh my God. Like,
lead attorney?
Yes, lead attorney. Yeah, right. So, what's your general take on the manosphere currently?
One, I'm not a part of the manosphere. I've never said
Oh,
part of the manosphere. As I say, assassin or nothing.
Yeah.
And when you use a term to put people under an umbrella, generally you would think they have common features.
Yeah, absolutely.
At some level, they clearly read all the same books, right? They read all the same books, clearly.
Rolo book,
Yes. And shout out to Rolo. I've had some conversations with him. But yeah, they're basically regurgitating things they've read in books.
Yes, sir.
So, in as much as that's the case, I don't respect it in general. I will say that there are guys that have seemingly been attacked on my platform, which was unfortunately due to editing.
Yeah.
Meaning that, you know, at some point you got to hire a team, and there was one thing that actually had broke my heart. And it was no one's fault.
Yeah.
But one of my editors did a video, and he called it "Why so-and-so, I don't even want to say the name, why so-and-so will misguide you. And he's talking about one of the youngsters that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And I was really proud of that youngster, just for his ability to win and be successful in the online space.
Fit or who?
I'm not, it doesn't even
So
matter.
go say the name.
I'm
What?
proud of both of them.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
don't have any problem with them. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm an older man. I should be proud of them. I'm not going to compete with them. I want to help them. And now if they give some errant game, I'm going to correct it, which is also part of my responsibility. But someone put like, why so-and-so will misguide you, one of my editors, and put it out as a short or something. And it was doing numbers, and I was like, oh, man.
Like,
I
why
don't,
would you do this?
I don't have time to look over all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was a good video. Like, people watched it. He did the right thing. But I was like, it hurts my heart because I respect this young man.
Yeah.
I ain't going to bang his line to correct it because it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Big homie.
Yeah. So that was disappointing. But anyways, with regards to the whole manosphere, I think it's a bunch of guys who are projecting to win at a higher level than they actually do win, generally speaking. I think at some level, a lot of them have experienced trauma with their relationships with females, and they've not properly recovered.
Vanessa, I can hear
hits
that.
at their mindset, which is not going into life realizing that life will have challenges and bumps, and it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I think there's a lot of lies in the manosphere, and there's no values. There's no value for family. There's no value for marriage. There's no value for women. And so they're misguiding a lot of young men with bad advice. And I get a lot of guys who come to me, they say, hey, man, I was hyped up on this RP stuff, and I lost a good woman. And now I'm on this ism, and it's bringing me back and making me positive and allowing me to see the light. Because when you look at manosphere content, it's wildly negative.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Wildly negative. It might tell you how to run strategy on a woman to sleep with her, but it doesn't tell you how to get a good woman, not a bad bitch, but a good woman, and build into a family. And it damn sure don't tell you how to get paid. You hear me? That's the number one issue.
Not facts.
It don't tell you how to get paid.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're not a part of anything. You're just a part of a bunch of individuals on their computer hunched over. The assassin is something pure. There's an actual community. You heard me?
Absolutely.
When I pull up in Sweden, it's 10 people. Bruh. Yeah. I host workouts in St. City in the headquarters. You know, like we have real events. It's real community. They actually know each other. They've been to my house. I've hosted them for dinners. We're building a model and a culture that will span around this globe and teach people the right way to live.
Another aspect that Kevin Samuels took from you.
Okay.
The war room he has, which is a similar concept of, you feel me, right? Now, last question for you, right? Well, one or two more questions for you, right? So, but the first question is, what's your take when people say, yo, like, I think you got a podcast with you. I've got a brother name.
To me, it's really hard because he's sitting here and he's criticizing the manosphere and he's saying like, yeah, here's all the problems I have with it. I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like this. But then all of those things that he's criticizing of all the people, some of the biggest names in the manosphere, he's like, yeah, shout outs to that person. Shout outs to Fresh and Fit. Shout outs to Kevin Samuels. Big ups to Andrew Tate. And it's like, wait. So if you hate the manosphere or you recognize that the manosphere is one, not promoting family, which you obviously know is destructive to the black family. You know that it's not promoting like how to even make money. You know that that's obviously problematic. You're knowing that it's entirely negative to an oppressed demographic. I don't know why you wouldn't think that would be harmful or well, you're saying it's negative. So then clearly it's harmful, right? Like these are the things you don't like about it. So if it has all of these things, how do you then still walk away and praise the men who promote that? Like, these are the main promulgators of this thing. And it's like, nah, they fine, though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never going to speak negatively about I get it, because he just has that loyalty. But if your loyalty is to people that are doing hard things, such that you can't even condemn the things that they're a part of, or in this case, this does come off as an endorsement when you're sitting here and you're big up in these people, clout and money. It's crazy. Man, I don't know.
He's a magician.
Jabrizi. It's my partner. Good brother.
Yo, I didn't know that, bro. So on YouTube, he's probably, but his Facebook is, it's insane.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of views, that nigga get views. You know, right?
He going, yeah.
You can't even play that nigga, bro.
Hey, shout out to Jabrizi in a real way.
Get views, right?
Yes.
But like, I think even Axe said it and others said it, yo, he's trying to copy the Fresh and Fit formula for their pod.
Okay.
So like, speak on that now.
That's a good question.
Yeah, but though, like when I watch your podcast though, it's more so not a catch-22. It's like you are actually, like, it's a more positive conversation with the women.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't see it as copying. Yes, there's women, yes, there's two hoes, but it's not really copy to me. But, you know, like, what's your take on it?
Let's get deep. That's a brilliant question. Number one, let's just talk about lifestyle in general.
Yeah.
Who in real life been surrounded by hoes the whole way through?
You. Yeah.
In real life, like documented in real life.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5
Documented?
of them things. And they cool with each other.
Yeah.
And they know what it is.
Yeah.
My real life.
Facts.
So if somebody puts that on TV, I'm like, damn, you copying my real life.
Yeah.
Who's really copying? That's my life. You're fabricating stuff in general. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about fresh,
Of
I'm
course,
saying in general.
yeah.
Now, that's point one. Point number two. The Fresh and Fit model is a brilliant model. I even made a video giving them their accolades as businessmen who have created a successful model, which they did not originate. You can observe the shock jock model. You can observe women being kicked out. You can observe women acting crazy.
I agree with that, Vinizzle, but I think that, Vinizzle, but I think it starts getting into a problem if you start taking the primary people. For instance, you can't claim to like the Democratic Party, but then hate whoever the 5 most influential Democrats are, and say these people just don't represent the whole. When the leadership of an organization is failing, then that organization is trash, point blank. And so when, again, you take the most famous people who are doing these things, and you say, I won't speak negatively about them, but I like what they're doing, that doesn't make any sense to me. Sure, you don't try to label an entire movement just off of a few people, unless those people are the primary leaders and the main promulgators, right? So in the same sense, like when you're talking about like a religion, like you see people do that all the time, where they'll insult the Prophet Muhammad and call him whatever the frick they want to in order to sit there and try to say like, hey, this ain't valid, right? Because if you can do that, then that makes sense, right? Like the disrespect that America got because Bush was our president or Trump was our president says a lot. What do you mean? A lot of times you start to disparage things because of their leaders. I don't understand how this would be any different.
Called Howard Stern. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
It's called Maury Povich.
Yeah, Jerry Springer.
You are not the father. Nigga do a backflip, run off crying, right?
I know. Yeah, Jerry Springer. You know all
Jerry
that.
Springer.
Yeah.
Steve, get her out of here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Same stuff.
Yeah.
Exact same stuff. Their actual magic sauce, so to speak, is the conflict. People are watching to see Myron talk crazy to the girl. Not crazy, but say something she don't want to hear, turn up on her.
Yeah.
And then she reacts the way we predict a ratchet girl will react. And then
as a little irrational.
there's a small explosion and then she gets kicked off the show.
Yeah.
That's the show. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
don't never
And
expect to hear
everyone
for a
knows that
point. I
they've
expect niggas to get
re-engineered
salty and
that
keep on
several
arguing.
times.
Yeah.
And I tip my hat off to them because they said we in it for the bag and they making the bag.
No, it's
Shout
a bag.
out.
A big bag.
In a real way. Now, one thing I'm not going to do on screen is something I don't do in my personal life.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna kick the hoe out.
That's
You can always go because that door can go 2 ways.
Yeah.
You can always go,
Yeah.
but what I'm actually trying to example is how you deal with women in real life.
Yes.
And when you see me talk to these women on the podcast, which truth be told, they're not generally women that I would hang out with or date in real life. I might max them out, Jeremy, on a Friday, Saturday night, needed in my life, but I'm not gonna hang out with these particular personalities. But you know, when you see me on there, it's like activate Dr. Phil mode. You heard me? You see me show you the kind of finesse, leadership, guidance, and calmness that a man should exhibit. We're not gonna yell back and forth. If you get out of your body, I'm gonna help you get back in it calmly.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna help you see the error of your thinking, or if I know you can't see that, I'm gonna help you get to a point where we can have some level of peace between us, because you won't always agree.
Yes.
So I'm exampling, how do you live with a woman? How do you talk to a woman in your family? How do you get a woman to see your way? And that is the romance that you're gonna observe in my show. How do you game her up? And here's another thing. Not to say too much, but you know, like some people put on shows, you know, they paying the broads to show up and all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got a penny. All mine show up. You hear me? They show up
Hard
because
on thoughts for life.
they know Jabrizi or they know Marquette.
Yeah.
They showing up because of that, or it's a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And then after that, you know, niggas slanging dick out here
that's
because
a
we
fact.
really live like that.
Nah, that's a fact.
So it's not like you got a stage situation where we paying chicks, and that's another reason.
Yeah.
Twofold, which is number one, these are women we know in real life. These are not strangers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they are connected to our network. We're going to show respect.
Yeah.
Because we're respectful men. And then secondly, Saint City is a community. And these women, even though they might not follow the ism, they're going to respect it, and they're going to know it's Saint City, and they're going to know they're going to yell peace to the saints when they see one of my folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're going to know how we live and how we get down. They're in my city.
Yes.
I'm not going to create a bad situation. We want to build community. And so that's a totally different vibe. And so the real question that has been asked is, and these are among psychopaths, like, hey, you copy the Fresh and Fit show.
Yeah.
I clearly said in a live, that motto is brilliant.
Yeah.
I've tried to copy it in a way that works for me.
Yeah.
I have tried to copy it in a way that works for me. And as a businessman, one thing I teach is success leaves clues. If somebody's selling a product and it's going like hotcakes, figure out what they do and copy it and try to do it better. And I tell Fresh and Fit, like, brother, man, I'm trying to do what y'all do, man. I'm trying to do it better than you do it. You dig?
Yeah.
So there's no apology there. That's business. And I am a capitalist. And I want every man to be a good hustler.
Yeah.
And then the last piece to it is like, man, I got to stop doing a show like that because I can't even deal with them personalities. Like, them boys got some serious patience. Like, I don't want to hear hoes yell at each other for an hour. You know, like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And also, at some level, our core audiences are a little bit different. Like, my core audience is, they like information.
Yeah.
They like logic. They like being exposed to new things. They like learning how to earn. So that's not my core audience. But we do it for entertainment to reach a broader spectrum.
Yeah, of course.
So, you know. That's a reasonable question, but real hustlers, they don't get.
Hey, what do you
into
guys think? You guys think
it
it should be in the bottom right corner, or do you think it should be up here?
And I tell you
a
what,
little bit further?
if I thought that they were making money based on Fresh and
I think I'm
Fit
gonna leave it a little bit further.
Fresh's outfit, I'd have showed up wearing a chain that said Fresh. I'd have showed up wearing a chain that said Fresh.
Yeah,
you hear me?
not facts.
Because I'm a business guy and I'm gonna figure out what's working because I have a greater goal, which is spreading this ism, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes. But one thing I'll never do. I will never compromise my integrity. Like you mentioned, Destiny said, well, hey, I needed money. They offered me a lot of money. You can control a human being based on greed, based on sex,
Absolutely.
and based on fear.
Absolutely.
That's how you control a human being, greed, sex, or fear.
Absolutely.
I know that very clearly, and I've used those things sometimes. I cannot be controlled by those things. I was born into this world poor. I'm willing to go back.
Absolutely.
Money has never made me. I'll go back to being poor. I've not been a greedy person. Sex, when you have something in abundance, it has low value.
Nah, as a fact.
And I ain't never been scared like Bone Crusher.
As a fact.
I ain't never scared. I can't be controlled. Everything I've done is for principles, and it's been hyper clear through my whole life. It's been consistent. You're not gonna find anybody say he's a snitch, a rat, a liar, a double crosser, a two-facer. No. You'll find some people say he's an asshole, but he'll tell you the truth, and he gonna stand on it.
Nah, that's a fact, man. Now listen, man, for part 2, like we already got the drama.
They got everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But for part 2, man, I want to dive deep into the actual ism. You feel me? Into
They need it.
Right, but no. So like we're gonna do that really soon,
Hey,
right?
Man, you're talking about ism, man.
Right?
I want you to know the Saint. He's the coolest, sharpest YouTuber in podcast.
You
man.
and Sharp would make a dynamic duo. man.
Understand me, church. Listen to me, loved one. The Saint, he's the one.
Yo, love y'all.
All right, that's the end of that. That wasn't that bad. Again, I do think he kind of mischaracterized the way that conversation went with him and Destiny. In fact, let me see if I can find it. Saint in the center. Just watch the beginning of this. I wish I could watch it from... Oh, they clipped this up? This was 4 weeks ago? When was the thing that I just watched uploaded?
No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. We're...
Whoa, I'm so far behind. Why did it just now get recommended? Oh, because it just got uploaded to Destiny's stream. That's why. Okay. Lord Marquard for being afraid of Destiny? What?
All right, they went through that whole entire interview in Flacco Meat Road and did not press this guy on anything, right? Granted, he get his little clout off of it, which it was negligible at best. Okay, you couldn't even tell if he grew from that shit or not, right? But what was satisfying out of that dissatisfying interview that we experienced was the comment section.
Or the comment section's OD?
These comments never.
Oh, it's all
cease
Destiny
to amaze
stuff.
me because they was show as hell roasting this man in the goddamn chat, right? In the comments everywhere. Because
Why is his audio like this? Am I tripping?
Adam 22, I mean, up until recently, I believe, right? Everyone else knows what this clown is all about and what kind of nonsense he's on, right? So, with that being said, Adam 22.
This nigga ain't no FBA. Let's get past it. I want to go back to the video. Let me see what the comments looking like.
Can somebody link, actually, what is...
Let's go on. Now I don't know where to go. Oh, no, it's this one. Let me see these comments. I already know Destiny's fans went ham. One of the greatest minds of philanthropists to ever walk the planet. Bro, he was getting sucked in the beginning. This was OD. Oh, gosh. You said he faked a BBC documentary? I don't want that in my algorithm because I'm just afraid of other nonsense. So, yeah. Jeez. At times it was uncomfortable. Bro, it was OD. Nigga, let me see.
Hey, Pam. They call me fat.
No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. We're back. Now, first off, I don't even know how to introduce this man, right? I just call him Big Homie.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know, I mean philanthropist,
thank you,
philosopher, technologist, I mean academic. What do you call yourself, man?
I just say I'm a businessman.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, we need it all to add up to dollars.
Yes.
So I'm a businessman first and foremost. I also lead the Assassin, you dig, and we can get into that. But people call me many things. They call me Stephen A. Pimp. They call me Fax Kellerman.
Man, suck that ish,
You know what I'm saying? They call me the bald head lover. They call me the idol of James Bond.
Yes.
Some people just call me Marquette Devon, the saint in the center.
That's a fact, man. Right. So for this interview, do you mind if I just call you Big Homie?
Let's go.
All right, man, perfect, man. Now, like, somebody told me something about you, right? Where they say, yo, listen. If
this is somebody who knows me or a fan?
A fan, right? He said like 3,000 years ago.
Okay.
If the Big Homie existed 3,000 years ago, and he'll be the Mansa Musa, the Attila the Hun, right? Meaning they're just certain people where like they're like conquerors, right? Meaning like
this nigga is sucking him.
They just have a level of intellect, work ethic, and appetite of power. Now, the third thing is where I can't really speak on because I don't know your exact appetite for power, right? But like that formula usually exists in people like who are conquerors, right? So right now, obviously, like you like can't conquer land no more since like niggas got like nukes now, right? Right?
Yeah.
But they're still conquerors in businesses, you know, like let's say like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right?
Sure.
So what do you feel about that assessment? If you existed 3,000 years ago, you will be like a Mansa Musa, Attila the Hun conqueror.
I think
y'all see this, right?
that makes sense, and I'd even throw Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, you dig. I got to correct. Day say the spread in the philosophy, the spread world is in leaders. Have their heads on the ice.
Bro, like, how does somebody get crafted like this, bro? Like, too, man. I was like,
sticks in their eye sockets. You did.
Nah, that's a fact. Now, because I seen you boxing too, man. I was like, well, hold up now, bro. Like, how does somebody get crafted like this, bro? Like, smart as hell, right? Articulate, well put together. Like, and then you, like, are physical beasts as well. Like, you can fight. How? Like, is it just severe training, preparation, or like was you just naturally gifted these skills, man?
Very.
That's not OD? I'm going to clip just that portion right there. That's got to be made a clip. That's OD. I don't know how this is not violating TOS. That was OD. I've never in my life heard a man be sucked like this, like on a dang YouTube video. What is going on? That's ham. And again, I give my flowers. My nigga, I will tell you. If I think you're great, I'll tell you. And I think you're really skilled. I think you're smart. This was, it was OD. That was crazy. I don't know, bro. You know what this reminds me of? Do y'all remember when Lil Mama went on the Breakfast Club? So Lil Mama went in the Breakfast Club and cried because Charlamagne, you know what? I got all day. We're gonna go through this. It's only a 23-minute video. We're gonna put it on 1.5 speed. Just watch this.
Power 105.1 is the Breakfast Club, and today we got a special guest in the building.
I can't believe this.
What?
I honestly can't believe that she showed up.
Little Mama.
The real Little Mama.
The real Little Mama. What's up, New York? Not the Little Mama like, oh, that's my boo, Little Mama. That's my Little Mama.
Little Mama,
Oh, you hate this video, Andy?
Now, Little Mama, you know, we give it to you hard on this show.
Already?
You know, one of my nicknames for you is the voice of the young struggle face.
What?
It's because you're young, but you have an old face. Like how Drake says, you know, I'm really too young to be looking this old. Like,
Nah, to be feeling this old. I got an old soul, but I feel like people tell me I look 12, 13. They tell me I'm sexy.
I've never heard that.
Now, you probably never heard that because you look old. You look great.
I am older, but everybody in this room has heard. Everybody in this room has heard. Everybody says, okay, Little Mama got to be like 30-something. She lies about her age, right?
Yeah, probably so.
People have said that they thought that you, because you came out very young.
Yeah.
You were only, what, 16? 17?
Mm-hmm.
And people used to be like, oh, she's not really that young,
Yeah.
and da-da-da-da-da. You know, I'm sure you've heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's probably just the way I address situations.
He's just violated
Growing up in New
OD.
York, you're forced to grow up early. It's like you gotta get it fast, or you ain't gonna get it at all.
Well, it's like, you know, you, Greg Oden, and LeBron James have the same gene. Like y'all young with old faces. Like you might have Benjamin Button syndrome. You probably start looking
Y'all
young
gotta
as
see
you get older.
Charlamagne's face, seriously. If you never seen this guy's face,
I have
you
a
gotta
face
see
for
it.
radio.
It's like somebody stalked
I gotta do
it.
Yes,
something.
I'm
No,
discolored.
just
I have a face for radio.
Jeez.
See, the thing, I know I'm ugly, but that's
Yeah.
what we have you here for today.
To let people know what beauty looks like.
No, but listen, now, Little Mama, you recently, people were critical of
Look,
the fact
I got
that
it.
Nicki Minaj, you know.
Stole your style.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
stole your style. And it went crazy.
Do you really
It went
feel
crazy?
that?
Did it go
Look.
bonkers?
Yes, all
Now
over
move
the
it
internet.
over here.
All the
energy,
I can't
right?
believe she
For
said
this.
that.
Do you really feel that? You really feel she stole your style?
Because
I
she's
mean, it is what it is.
No, let's be truthful. Let's clear it up right now. So you think she stole your style? What
Because
part
sometimes
of her do
people
you
say
think she stole
things
your
and it
style?
gets taken out of context. So that's why I'm asking you, because, you know, that was quoted in Vibe magazine, and then people were like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. So I just wanted you to say your side of it.
I mean, my side is very neutral. I'm like Little Mama, and a long time before, you know, just like the last time that we've seen any female MCs before Nicki, there was me. And when it came to like radio interviews or whatever, people always be like, where's the female MCs? Where's the female MCs? You know what I mean? And just at this point where I've stepped back a little from music, still continuing with television in my career, people would probably ask her that same question. So it's just a lot of controversy around, you know, just being a female in hip hop. And I think that a lot of times our community really focuses on
I'm scared.
celebrating one female.
I don't know
MC
what
at a
that
time.
was. Why did I
And
click
think
that?
that's where it comes in, at the controversy, the who stole what style. At the end of the day, I'm talented, and there's only one Little Mama.
That scared
so,
me.
You know.
I don't think it's necessarily true that they focus on one female at a time. I just think it's one female right now that people actually care about.
That's
that has-
popping.
That has
Right.
generated interest. Like,
Right.
I mean, you've only got one album, Voice of the
Right.
Young People.
Right.
One single that people remember, Lip
Right.
Gloss is popping. But
You're right.
Since then, you haven't done anything.
But you also are taking a
Right.
hiatus from music, you said.
Right.
She's doing TV. She's doing TV. The
Right.
TV thing. Getting money in TV. I'm not mad at that. But
You
you
too,
really,
Envy. I see you.
But you really think that she stole your style? Like, what did Nicki Minaj steal from you? Was it your style? Was
The
it the
hair.
hair? Was it?
I mean, you know, you could just let the people decide. I don't really focus on that. I just focus on good music, good in a career. You know, there's so many like.
So this is, I'm just gonna make it really clear. Lil Mama is one of the most, she's from New York, and I think it's just part of that industry. When you're in that industry, you kind of have to have that belief about yourself, or else you're not going to be able to do what you got to do. And because everyone is trying to tear you down in a competitive industry. It's like boxers. Every boxer believes they're the greatest boxer of all time. They genuinely believe that about themselves, or else you're not going in on a ring in front of a bunch of millions of people and like you know, trying to lay somebody out because you're afraid you're going to get laid out. And so that's whatever, right? So you have to think that way. But a lot of times you really do need some sort of like talent and skills and things like that to really accompany it. And then of course these things can really, really hit the finals or hit its final stage when you see something like this. Hold on. Lil Mama stage, Jay-Z. Y'all saw this moment, right? I'm gonna turn this music down. Look, and she just walks up on stage for no reason, like she belongs there. She had no business being there. Like, why would you, like, of course, everyone went ham. Jay-Z was pissed because he's like, yo, you just ruined the whole moment. Like, it was just crazy. So Charlamagne said when she was coming on the show, because she like, and then post that, people, she'd be like, well, I just felt like I belonged up there because the song's about New York and I am New York. And it's just like, come on, bro. What are you doing? What are you talking about? You had a single. I didn't even know that single. I never heard that single before this interview. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I knew her from that one, I want to say America's Best Dance Crew, where she was a judge with an attitude. Like, I didn't know you. And you're on stage with the Jay-Z and Alicia Keys, like, acting come on, man. Not any security up there, because all the celebrities, the people who are up there at that point of the thing, they know what they're supposed to do. You're not getting people really running on stage like that, besides Lil Mama. No one's doing that. Now, you want to start letting lay people who ain't already, because it's going to look really poorly on you. And it did.
Coming from New York, I grew up in Brooklyn and Harlem. Come on, people steal styles all the time. People borrow. People are inspired. So this is basically the way I
want to know one thing so we can be like, she got you.
You're
right.
Nicki Minaj like night and day. Like, I don't see any resemblance whatsoever. Other than the fact both of y'all are from New York.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Ooh, that was a little stab right there. That was a backhanded stab. Like, right back.
I also read somewhere that you want to move to Paris. And just
leave.
Just leave? Like, are you
I could do it.
fed up here in the
I could do
United
it
States?
if I want. I could just go. I might just go.
But why is it that you want to do that? Are you just
I just think that I've always been a person that just likes to travel and like to do different things. I think that I've really been received really well overseas. That's why I would like to go.
I want to get back to Nicki Minaj. Why don't you like Nicki?
No.
What's the problem with Nicki?
You want a people's choice, not the drama king.
No, I just want to know why though. Like,
yeah, both of y'all from New York. If anything, you should be bigging her up. You should be happy to see
I am happy.
I
am happy. I'm very happy for any young woman, especially a minority, a young woman who comes from a minority community such as myself. I know how hard it is, and you have to have tough skin. So at the end of the day, anybody that's doing their thing, I genuinely respect that.
Whose style would you say that you've admired and borrowed from? Because you said everybody borrows from somebody.
Yeah.
Who would you say is somebody that you look up to or people that you admire?
I definitely look up to, am inspired, and would borrow any day from MC Lyte, Missy Elliott, and there's probably quite a few others. I really respect a few male MCs as well, like Lupe Fiasco, just like his whole approach, and just like it's a whole bunch of people. I'm not gonna sit here and name everybody, but
it seems like you and Chris Brown have a tight relationship too.
Yeah, that's my boy. Love Chris.
She said MC Lyte too. Either you're showing your age or you know your history.
Definitely know my history.
How old are you now?
I am.
She about to lie.
Why are you thinking about it? You're not supposed to ask a woman their age, so my mother always said you could say
Now let's talk about Lil Mama's her biggest thing in her life. Not the album, not the TV show. Yes. Standing on stage with Jay-Z.
Envy, stop trying to come from my neck talking about the biggest thing in my life.
That was the biggest thing.
See, this is foul. I get why you don't want to watch this video, because this is dirty. Here you have this young woman and she's going on this stage, and she's going here after she did this controversial thing that was not received very well, and she's really feeling herself, but I'm not sure that the accolades are already there. And now she is literally getting destroyed by three different people. That's a bit much. And she is 33 right now. That's young, but you got to think this video got posted 11 years ago. So she was like 22 at the time. I think this is like a re-upload. She might have been 21. So it's like, it really does suck. Like, because you hear them coming for, like, saying the biggest thing of your life was that Jay-Z moment. Come on.
White people who don't know who Lil Mama is, Asian people who don't know who Lil Mama is, people over right now in Africa who might not know who Lil Mama is, say, who the hell is that girl standing next to Alicia Keys and Jay-Z?
That's when I realized that you were delusional as hell. Because what made you feel like you could get up and go on stage with Alicia Keys and Jay-Z?
I mean, like, ever since, like, just being a kid, like, I've always been a part of hip hop. Just put it like that. If you get your limelight, whether you're 16, you're 21, or wherever you at, you get your line when you get your line. But if you're a part of hip hop, and if you're a child of hip hop, you're gonna always be a part of hip hop. And yeah, in my day, in my era, Ralph McDaniel just being 5 and being at his block parties, you could go on stage. If you see an award show, you'll see people go on stage, or you'll see that energy and it'll be received. So maybe my love was misconcepted.
You
or
should have just stayed
I
in
don't
your
know.
seat, showed
I
up.
That was my favorite part of the show.
You scared Jay-Z.
Let him know.
Jay-Z was like, who's this young man trying to get on stage? Text me.
Yo, Charlamagne's son, his daughter, I just saw him, just beautiful. But anyway, I mean, I don't regret it. I don't regret it.
You don't regret it, but you did apologize.
I'm half the Lord. I'm very.
But you did apologize, so you don't wish you wouldn't have done that.
Did you ever speak to Jay after?
I definitely don't regret it, and I didn't get a chance to speak to Jay afterwards. I spoke to them in the media. You guys have seen the interviews. Don't try to act like y'all don't know what's going on.
I don't know if you spoke to him on the side. If you see them on the side at another award show, and was like, my bad.
I didn't see Jay, but I definitely have been. Swiss Beats came to my show. And America's Best Dance Crew. And I know you guys know that he's married to Alicia Keys and they have a new baby. And he's just like, she loves you. Don't let the media get in the middle of what's really happening. Continue your success. And I just think that Swiss has always just been a great supporter of me. Before I even signed the deal, I think Swiss was always just like, yo, you need to get with the right people. And, it's just, as a young person, just being in this industry, you gotta have the right people behind you. And I feel like Swiss definitely did that.
He's foul, but she's earning this.
Yeah. But it's all a learning experience. Another person that I feel like has definitely supported me in my career is Snoop. Snoop is like one of the realest dudes, you know what I mean? Like, when you see Snoop, you're gonna respect him. I don't care who you are. And, he's just like, yo, like, let's do, like, I've been waiting for us to do a track for a minute. So I'm like,
Snoop gets high.
Yeah, Snoop gets high.
So you probably was talking about that.
So what about if Snoop was right here right now? What would you say?
I would say Snoop. You really want to do a track?
Why is you do I've been waiting for us to do a track for a minute. So I'm like,
Snoop gets high.
Yeah, Snoop gets high.
So you probably was just talking out his ass.
So what about if Snoop was right here right now? What would you say?
I would say Snoop. You really want to do a track with Snoop?
He's going so hard,
bro. You did a track with him.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Wow.
But yeah.
Shut it up, Charlamagne.
Shut up, Charlamagne.
Yeah.
Listen, are the rumors?
No, he's ahead of himself. Literally.
Are the rumors true about Keisha Cole shooting a biopic and you're going to play a young Frankie?
You know what? I
Wait,
saw
check
your little,
YouTube? What you mean?
Video. You're a mess.
I don't even know how to check YouTube. Oh, the stream got taken down? That's weird. What the hell happened? Suspended for this clip?
You need to stop.
Oh, they probably got this thing stung up. Is it this clip, or do you think it could be the no jumper one? Yeah, that. That's what it was, ATM, for sure. Yeah, they were like, yo, this is sexual misconduct. We can't have that. Okay,